Triple H finally opens up about the state of NXT 2.0. Black and Gold was officially killed by Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. His vision of the future was killed by his father-in-law and Bruce Pritchard. But he went to The Athletic and he did a full in-depth interview of what is going on in NXT 2.0. Also, WWE could be looking into a new ranking system, just like AEW. What does that have? What does that have in store? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? We'll talk about that live on the air. Also, Bray Wyatt. We know that Bray Wyatt has had a major influence in the world of professional wrestling since his free agency, but he is still out there. Could he be going back to WWE? Could he be going to AEW? We got the news right here on OTB. It's time for Tuesday's talk, everybody. It's Tuesday night. We got a stacked show. We got a guest, and I will let him introduce himself very, very soon. This is the only place that you need to be on your Tuesday nights. This is Outside the Brand. We'll talk to you guys in just a little bit. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me right here on Outside the Brand. This is episode 174 of the podcast for your Tuesday, April 26th, 2022. I am your host, Phil, and of course, this is Outside the Brand. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us right here on your Tuesday nights, wherever you may be. Guys, I got a guest tonight. This is a first-time guest. The man needs no introduction, but I'm going to give it to him anyway because this guy is absolutely awesome. He's that damn good. This man is one of my friends on TikTok. He is absolutely killing it as of late. He needs no introduction, like I said, but this man is a mainstay here on Wrestle Talk, and we followed each other for a little while now. We've gotten to know each other, but we finally get to do this one-on-one. And yeah, man, we're going to have a little bit of a talk here. We got a lot of stories to go down. What is going on, man? How are you? And what really got you into wrestling TikTok? How did all that come about?
Wow. That's a question. Well, I'm doing great, man. It's an honor to be here. I feel this is so professional. It feels like I'm on one of those talk shows, man. This is great.
Thank you.
But yeah, the thing that got me into wrestling TikTok was just the resurgence of like just how big the people who talk about this, the podcasters, like yourself, all the type of podcasters. What are some guys I watch? I watch guys like JD a bit. I watch guys like Solid Monster, and then I get on TikTok and there's guys doing the same thing. So it's like, man, I got some opinions. I just started talking about it, and people started liking what I said, started listening to what I said. I was like, might as well just keep going. And here we are. There
you go, man. I, for one, and the entire OTB family watch JD as well. I think JD is probably, he's boisterous, that's for sure. But, the man knows his stuff. And honestly, if you kind of listen to like the actual intro of The Way It Is, I kind of modeled it a little bit after him. But hey, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I always love that guy. And we just always try to do what he does, and that is bring the truth to professional wrestling. Now, we got a lot of stuff to go over, man. This is an absolutely stacked show. We got plenty of news this week as we are starting the new week here, heading into WrestleMania Backlash. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us right here on episode 174 of Outside the Brand. Triple H had an interview with The Athletic, and he went over everything when it comes to NXT 2.0 and beyond. And trust me, guys, it's a very interesting read. But we will go over everything, dissecting every little aspect of what he said in that interview and beyond. It's going to be a very interesting show for you guys here tonight. We also have news that that WWE is looking towards an AEW-like ranking system for their product. And wins and losses should matter in professional wrestling, just like AEW has their ranking system, WWE. Wins and losses should matter, in my opinion. And if they're doing this ranking system, it could honestly make this a whole lot better. And maybe we don't have to have like champions losing every single week or something like that. I think that's going to be really good for the product. And that's all I want. I just want a better product. And I feel like you are the same way.
Of course.
It's just
I just want things to make sense, man. That's all I want, bro. That's all I want. AEW kind of struggles a little bit with the ranking system, but they pull it off. They pull it off. I feel like a true ranking system, would put WWE in a position where they have to book things that make sense and stories that actually make sense.
Right.
Like, for instance, a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura, he loses a tag match at Mania, right? And he comes out to Roman Reigns. Now, we all were thinking, what if Shinsuke faces Roman Reigns for the title, right? But when you think about it, it's like he just lost a tag match. Wow, he isn't even in the contendership. So it's like, I don't know. I just want things to make sense. People to actually have momentum going in the matches.
Exactly. So we will go over that as well as Bray Wyatt. We all know we haven't forgotten a guy like Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, like I said, is one of the most influential guys in the free agency pool in the free agency pool right now.
Yes.
His 90-day no compete clause has officially been done for months, and he's honestly just been sitting back and waiting for the right time. But at the end of the day, it's Bray Wyatt. The only person that knows what Bray Wyatt is going to be doing is Bray Wyatt. And once that's all said and done, we'll finally be able to see where he goes from here. I fully believe he's still going to be in professional wrestling. It's just a matter of what he wants to do. It's Bray Wyatt, man. You really don't know what he's thinking.
Of course. Truly just influential. Like, it doesn't make sense how creative that man is. And wherever he goes, he's going to do something great. I just know it. We all know it.
So we'll go over all of that, guys, and much more right here on the podcast tonight, episode 174. But guys, follow us on social media. All the TikTok links are down in the description below, as well as our special guests. And so if you guys don't follow him already, you guys can go to the bottom of the link and click that and follow him on TikTok. But you guys can follow me on other social media platforms as well, at @PhillyMet_. That's the same as my TikTok, but that's also on Twitter and Instagram. So go check out those platforms. When it comes to TikTok, like I said, all of them are down in the description below. Hit that subscribe button down below as well while you're down there, turning on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. We go live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for you guys here on Outside the Brand. So don't miss out anything for the podcast. Make sure you guys go check out the Monday Night Raw review that was last night. And I have to say, I'm not usually a big fan of Monday Night Raw, but that Raw was not bad. That Raw was not bad at all. We had 3 big returns. Asuka, Ali finally came out of the shadows, and Becky Cringe. Lynch. Sorry, my bad. Fucking Gollum returned to Monday Night Raw. I hope you saw that video. That was. She's terrible. But Becky Lynch also returned, and we'll see.
We need the man back. That's all I'm gonna say. We need the man back. I don't know what this new gimmick is, but we need the man back because it's not cutting it.
She had like JD said, she has to be voicing Gollum in that new Lord of the Rings video game that's coming out or whatever.
He destroyed her for the My Precious promo. And I can't blame him. It was horrible. That's probably her worst promo she's ever done. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
it's bad.
And she comes out dressed like she's from like 2077. Like she's.
I don't know what I don't even think she knows what she's going for. What is her gimmick? What is her character? She doesn't know.
She really doesn't, and
No one
obviously
knows.
Seth Rollins is not helping out with the
No.
with the wardrobe, because Seth Rollins always comes out looking fly as hell, and then you got Becky Lynch, who does not know left from right, or just knowing her precious.
Oh
but
my goodness! Wow.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've been so critical on this Becky Lynch situation, but it's honestly warranted, because you don't know what the hell is happening here.
Of course.
When she comes back, when she came back, nobody wanted to boo her. She just came back from pregnancy, so it's ridiculous. But yeah, Monday Night Raw, it still wasn't all that bad of a show. We have a new name for Edge's faction called Judgment Day.
Bro, what do you think about it? What do you think about it?
It's interesting because
I like it.
I like it too. I'm either going to call them Judgment Day or just the other side, because that's what I've been calling them for.
That's a great name. Speaking of the theme, what do you think of the theme?
I love it.
Is this better than his original thing?
I think here's the thing: when it comes to Edge, or pretty much anybody that like really has like this influential of like a heel and babyface type run, I think Edge is perfect to have like two themes for his like two personalities.
Of course.
One for his heel and one for his babyface.
Of course.
Alter Bridge is my favorite band of all time. So once I heard The Other Side by Alter Bridge, I was like, holy fucking shit. Thank you so much, Edge. Thank you. Because Edge is so influential when it comes to that stuff. And man, I don't know if it's better than Metalingus, because Metalingus is so iconic.
Good. It's iconic. It's iconic.
But it's damn close. It's damn close.
Goodness.
And I was so happy.
It's great.
I was so happy.
Yeah.
So happy. And honestly, Damian Priest looks 10 times better.
This is the best thing. This is the best thing he's done since his US title reign.
Yes.
This is the best thing he's done. Like, they're done away with the Rage Monster gimmick, the split personalities thing. I don't know why they did that. We need this Damian Priest. And hopefully Rhea is coming along. Hopefully
Ciampa too. I'd love to see Ciampa. I'd like to see Ciampa as what the heck, Sicilian psychopath. That's what he was known as in NXT. And man, God dang it, I love Ciampa. I love Ripley, and hopefully those two come into the forefront later on down the line. So, guys, it wasn't as bad of a Raw for their flagship show, but anything's possible when it comes to all that. So we will have to wait and see. The ratings for that show did not really influence the actual booking of the product. It was like, I believe it was like a 1.613 or something like that, which is terrible for Monday Night Raw. But yeah, I mean, that's neither here or there. But guys, if you guys missed anything on the channel over the last few weeks as well, all of that is on the homepage of the channel as well. So you guys can go check out any of the content that you may have missed. Make sure you guys go support the podcast by going to the Outside the Brand official merchandise store, which is on bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. You guys can go get your t-shirts, your hoodies, and much more on bonfire.com. So, finally, before we get into everything, I want to thank you guys again for helping us reach 400 plus subscribers. You guys are absolute beasts. We've been doing this thing since July of last year when the fans came back. The first show with fans coming back, we started this thing, and we did not expect anything from this. We kind of just started here, and we just said, you know what, screw it. We have opinions, and we just want to share them out there. The 400 subscribers, let's say, is not really all that big when it comes to the whole YouTube atmosphere and everything like that, but that's a huge accomplishment for us because we never thought that this could be a thing. But we love it. Thank you guys so much. And we're on the road to 500 now, and that's even crazier to say, but we're going to get there, and it's going to be an absolute crazy journey, but I love it. and we're gonna keep doing this for as long as we possibly can, because we've been doing this since July, and I'm not stopping. We may have a little bit of technical difficulties with the other members of this podcast when it comes to like working schedules, schooling, and all that stuff, but I'm here. So I'm here, and I'm going to be doing it all until they stop me, which they're not going to. So thank you. But I appreciate you guys nonetheless, and for joining the whole OTB family. And we're going to get right into the news for you guys tonight to kick off the show. All right, man. We're going to be talking about this whole ranking system thing first off, because this is going to be very interesting when it comes to the potential of what it could bring. Okay. Now, this is from WrestlingInc.com, a very reliable source when it comes to just wrestling news and all that stuff. Earlier on this weekend, WWE sent out a survey to select members of the WWE universe, and the questions give a glimpse as to what the company could be considering. Notable items covered on the survey via PW Insider include: how many times a month a recipient watches Raw, Smackdown, and NXT? How often do they attend live events and watch premium live events, or the pay-per-views? I'm sorry. I should not be calling them premium live events. That is a terrible name. I'm not calling them PLEs. They're pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Are fans interested in NFTs? Interesting question. Are fans interested in a wrestler ranking system? Are fans interested in, quote, real behind-the-scenes workings of the WWE? Which social media platforms does a fan follow the WWE? WWE has been releasing several surveys as of late to select members of the WWE fan base, with the most recent being the survey about the WrestleMania Backlash card. With that particular survey, fans were asked to rank the matches from not at all interested to extremely interested. Another survey released back in March asked cross-promotion questions such as, what do you like, if anything, about watching AEW Dynamite? That's interesting. What? Wait, so WWE is asking about... Okay. But
they're not competition, though. They're not competition. Remember that.
And that's exactly what I was just going to say. They're not competition, apparently.
According to Vince, they're not competition. Remember that. That's crazy.
The survey also went into detail with questions about characters, promos, and wrestlers with the creative freedom to speak their minds. There were also questions about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and Impact Wrestling. So apparently those people are competition, but apparently AEW wasn't, according to Vince at least.
Sure.
WWE did once have a ranking system of sorts coming to the WWE Power Rankings, or Power 25, during the active years. The main difference between that and AEW's current ranking system was that wins and losses and draws, as we all know AEW does have the whole draws, were the sole focus of rankings in WWE. It was more censored around who made the bigger impact on television that week in promos, matches, backstage segments, etc. The WWE Power Rankings ended in November of 2017. Okay. We talked about this a little bit in the intro, but the Power Rankings is a major plus for me because wins and losses should matter. And if that actually does happen, we won't be like champions won't be wrestling every single week and or losing. And at the end of the day, it'll just make a better product knowing who the heck is like on top of everything, like how like wins and losses and all that stuff. I think it would be a great addition. For sure.
Of course, especially with the champions losing part, because the amount of times that the Usos, and they're supposed to be built as the almighty tag team champions, the amount of times they've been pinned on free TV is ridiculous.
They lost all month this week. Champions. They lost all month so far.
Oh my goodness.
and it's the RK Bro every time.
And you know they're gonna win that match, right?
Usos, yeah, they should.
Because they've been losing to RK. Every single encounter they have with RK Bro, they've lost. So it's like they're gonna win the match. It's the WWE 50-50 booking. You know how they do. You know how they book. I don't know. I just don't know.
It's ridiculous. But
hopefully a ranking system can stop stuff like this.
Exactly. And maybe when it comes to that ranking system, that like creative can actually have a brain and make sure not to do the whole 50-50 booking, because 50-50 booking is one of the worst ways to either get a talent over or not. So it's the way to really not do things on WWE TV or any type of professional wrestling.
Yeah, it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help either competitor. It's crazy.
Yes. Man. But hopefully WWE actually considers that. I don't know about those other questions when it comes to either AEW, New Japan, or any other wrestling promotion, but the one that really stuck out to me was that ranking system, and hopefully that could make its way to WWE TV. I don't know how they're actually going to introduce that, but that's up for them to decide. I think a perfect way to probably do it, if they really want to actually make this meaningful, I do it right after SummerSlam. The Raw and SmackDown after SummerSlam introduce something. I know it's a little bit of a wait because August and everything like that, or I think it's at the end of July this year.
What, SummerSlam?
Actually, but I think, yeah.
Wow.
I think it's like the final Sunday of like July, which is like pretty much the beginning of August, but semantics. But if you want to do something and if you want to actually make it important, do something right after SummerSlam, because that's a big pay-per-view. We all know how things go from the big pay-per-views onward. You guys can do that, or if they just want to introduce it now, I mean, it's fine, but you got to do it, or at least after WrestleMania Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do it after a pay-per-view, or at least introduce a try, because just introducing it randomly during the week or month.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. How do you think it's gonna be like? Because I've heard some people say it's gonna be, some of it is gonna be off of the fans, some of it's gonna be off the win-loss record. Like how would like that even work? Them being ranked, like what would determine their rank? Like the fan reaction, or how much the fans vote for them, or like their wins?
I don't know, because back when they did the whole Power 25, I believe apparently we, like the WWE universe, had the power to make them go up and down in the rankings, just based on either our reactions to something or what have you.
Right.
But when it comes to this, I just think it solely should focus on the wins and losses when it comes to that, because having the wins and losses actually mean something in the company is going to make it so much more meaningful.
Oh yeah.
And I don't, it's not that I don't trust everybody else in the WWE like universe or whatever, but like we have
us
wrestling fans.
Sometimes I don't trust them. These are the same people who didn't care when Brock was squashing everybody. Sometimes I can't trust them. Sometimes. But
us wrestling fans are very either toxic or just have short attention spans, and we just don't know what we want at times. So that's
we don't. Not even they. I find myself doing it sometimes. You know? It's I don't know.
Short attention span too.
sometimes you get caught up in stuff. I don't know. But yeah, I do think you're right about the wins and losses. I do think it needs to be solely off of that to make those matter.
Yeah.
You know.
So hopefully that brings it into the fold. We are going to be hopefully watching out for that as the weeks go by, and hopefully WWE can introduce that. Donnie, what we are talking about is WWE potentially looking into an AEW-like ranking system, and how that can all bring into the fold. So hopefully we'll see that in the near future, or just possibly at any time during the course of 2022. Speaking of AEW Tag Team, FTR, Dax Harwood responded to the reports that WWE wants them back. Now, reports came out earlier, I believe last week, that WWE wants FTR back. And I think that's absolutely comical and hilarious, knowing that FTR is probably one of, if not like the biggest tag team going on right now, and now WWE wants them back.
It's just as hilarious as Cody Rhodes being the top star on Raw. It's just as hilarious as that.
At times I still even can't believe like people are saying that. Like people are saying that Cody Rhodes being in WWE is just crazy when he was EVP of AEW like 3-4 months ago.
It's surreal. I still can't believe it. When he walks onto the screen, I still can't believe it. It's surreal. Honestly.
But this one comes from WrestlingInc.com by Eric Mutter. And it says that Dax Harwood responds to reports that WWE wants FTR back. In an appearance on the Wrestling Perspective podcast, FTR member Dax Harwood was asked about the recent reports suggesting that WWE is interested in re-signing FTR once their AEW contracts expire. Now, actually, WWE can't do that because either A, that's going to be fraternizing with the competition because Tony Khan picked up their 1-year option on their contract. So they're still here, I believe, until the end of 2023, or at least the beginning. So they really can't be doing that as of right now, but they're still interested, and they're probably going to be poking the bear a little bit until they say, hey, get back over here.
Yeah.
Dax revealed that there was no damage control following the report, and also stated that his teammate Cash Wheeler respected AEW. He and his tag team partner, Cash Wheeler, respects AEW and AEW owner and CEO Tony Khan so much because of where they are right now within the company. Quote, "We didn't need any damage control," Harwood said. I think both companies are in the business of getting talent and getting talented talent, not just any talent. And I think that they've seen a wave that we've made over the last 8 to 10 months, hell, even more in the last 4 months. So yeah, why wouldn't they be feeling us out? Why wouldn't they ask about it? End quote. Well, not end quote. Sorry about that. So he says, here's the thing. We respect Tony Khan so much. We would never in a million years, while under a contract, be talking with another company. Would we ever go back and talk contracts with anybody else? No other company. We would never do that to him because we have too much respect for what he's given us and what he's allowed us to do. End quote. That's the actual end quote. As for what will happen once the AEW contract's expired, Dax Harwood made it clear that while money is cool and everything, it would not be the main factor of their decision, which is good. I like that they're at least showing substance and dignity over money. I wouldn't have taken them as money type of guys, but that's really good to see. So like he said, it would not be a main factor in the decision. Rather, the most important thing would be what place would present the best opportunities for them and the best place to build their legacy. Quote, now, on the flip side of that, we're going to go where professional wrestling takes us and wherever the best opportunity is for us and wherever we can build our legacy, end quote. He said, again, that's the most important thing. Obviously, money is really, really cool. I'm allowed to take care of my wife and my daughter. But whenever we initially got the contract offer from WWE, I called my grandmother and told her how much it was. And I told her, I think I'm going to turn it down. And her exact words were, David, how much money do you need? I was like, oh my God, she's right. My dad and my mom busted their asses to take care of me. So if they can do that, if they can do it, I can do the same thing, and I don't have to do this. I do it because I love it. So we're going to go wherever the love of wrestling takes us. End quote. That's awesome. That's awesome because it shows that they're not the money guys. And I would have never taken them that, I should say. But they're really focused on professional wrestling and just building their legacy. And that's all that really should matter because they're one of the best tag teams in the world.
Of course. It's great. It's great when wrestlers just want to wrestle. You know, that's just their passion. That's what they want to do. It's always great when, you know, they're not money hungry or anything. They just want to wrestle. Because as a wrestler, that's what should be your main passion, your main focus. So it's great hearing that. And yeah, that's amazing. I hope they keep going.
Yeah.
In the future.
I think here's the thing. When it comes to FTR and AEW, that AEW's made FTR into something absolutely phenomenal. They had one of the best matches. Hell, it might be match of the year when it's all said and done between the Briscoes at the Supercard of Honor show. Absolutely phenomenal match. If you haven't seen it, bro, I seriously recommend you do so. Or pretty much anybody in the chat, if you have not seen it, please go check it out. But with that being said, I think they have something here in AEW. They are the current AAA Tag Team Champions. They are the current Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. They might actually go after the AEW Tag Team Championships as well as hold all 3 championships. But if they went to WWE, I don't know what it would really even symbolize, mainly because the same tag teams are on top. The same tag teams are on top.
It would be a glass ceiling. There would be no point. It would be a glass ceiling.
Same tag teams are on top.
Of course.
The Usos and well, the New Days are kind of like in a flip-floppy kind of situation right now. But those two are the main 2 top teams, other than RK Bro. But other than that, what else?
And they're about to unify the titles too. So it's like that's going to be even less opportunity.
Now, it's funny how you mentioned the unifying of the championships because AEW only has 1 set of tag titles. And now all of a sudden, now the WWE is trying to unify these tag titles, even though we're not even going to have 1 set of tag team titles. They're just going to be holding both set of championships, even though I don't think that's the right move. Yeah. It's kind of funny that they're unifying the championships when they're all just trying to get AEW talent to come on over or come back over to the E. It's funny, but you know it's kind of a coincidence. It's kind of a coincidence. And listen, JD, you're on something there. You're on something there. But seriously,
I'll say this, and like JD said, WWE better treat Cody Rhodes as good as they can because Cody Rhodes. Yeah. The other guys in AEW, the MJFs, I heard he was even looking into, I don't know, letting his contract expire. The other guys like that, they're looking into going to WWE. They're looking to see what they do to Cody Rhodes. They're looking to see if what can I do if I go over there. Cody Rhodes is going to be an example. So if WWE wants any of those guys, and you know they do, we just heard it. You know they do.
They want MJF. They want Jade Cargill. They want Wardlow. I think Brian Cage would be like a perfect guy to go over there, but I mean, that's up to Brian. At the end of the day, like if Cody Rhodes is going to be treated well over however many years he's signed with the company, AEW people will go over here to WWE, but that's only because if they can be what they were in AEW. Cody Rhodes is the exact same person. In WWE as he is in AEW.
He even came up with the same theme music. I was so surprised.
Theme music? I mean, presentation. They took away the Cody Vader, but it's just. But the thing is, the Cody Vader didn't work apparently on Monday Night Raw. That's why they took it away. Okay. I love the Cody Vader though. The Cody Vader was just so cool when I saw him rise up at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes, I love him. I love him to death. But in all seriousness, though, like JD said, if you are going to make sure that people from AEW go to the E, you got to treat Cody Rhodes right, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. I just don't like that they're showing him every single week, at least 2 times a week.
The 8-man tag match kind of did it for me. It's like, okay, at this point, he's just another one of the guys.
Did you see the comments on that video?
Bro, people, they didn't understand, bro. And I'm like, it's crazy because it's kind of like, I wouldn't say we're seeing into the future, but we can see what's going to happen if they keep going down this road.
At least he's not risk of being overexposed.
He's not going to feel as special as he are. And then they have him come out 2 times a night, every week.
With the pyro.
And it's like, it's so much. It's too much, bro.
Cody Rhodes got 2 sets of pyros on Monday, and Randy Orton didn't even do one when he kind of...
Oh, my goodness. Randy Orton didn't get no pyro. 20-year anniversary vet didn't get pyro, and Cody Rhodes did.
I would have loved it if Randy Orton came out to... I believe not Voices, but Burning My Light, I believe that song was, and he did the whole like thing and like the whole raining pyro down. I would have loved it if he just brought that back for this one time only.
I love that theme. It's a shame he didn't like it. It's weird.
I know he didn't like it, and I was like, why? That song is so good. But AEW superstars will come over here to WWE. It is inevitable, but WWE has to treat Cody Rhodes right in order to do it. Guys like Jon Moxley, I know he's going back to WWE at some point within like the next 5 years, possibly.
Really?
I fully believe he'll come back. I fully believe that. But here's the thing: I would only want him to come back as Jon Moxley.
As Jon Moxley. No more Dean Ambrose.
Exactly.
Dean Ambrose is dead. No more Dean Ambrose, just Jon Moxley.
He's done so much in AEW as Jon Moxley. You can't bring him back as Dean Ambrose. You can't clean shave him and get him in like a Shield attire or just a T-shirt or whatever. You can't. You got to let him be Jon Moxley.
He's got to be him.
I don't know if Jericho would ever want to just retire in AEW, but if he ever wanted to entertain something in WWE, I could see it. But
you know, with WWE, you never say never with that company. You know, no matter how we've seen a guy like Mustafa Ali, he has been just pleading for his release, and we've seen him on Raw. So it's like it's a never say never thing with that company. No matter what type of hardships you have, they say you will always come back somehow. It's crazy.
It may be a cliche thing, but you're right. That whole never say never thing is legitimately the truth, because you really can't. A guy that is also trying to really never say never in terms of just the landscape of professional wrestling is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, as we all know, he got released, I believe it was last July, and which kind of shocked everybody, not only in the wrestling TikTok community, but just in the entire wrestling community as a whole. Yeah. But Bray Wyatt's asking price to return to WWE or sign with AEW is apparently very, very high. Now, he should get a hefty price because of just the creative mind that he has. Yes. But this is according to WrestlingNews.co. And this is by Paul Davis on that website. There's always a chance that Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, could return to wrestling, but any company that wants him will have to pay a lot of money. Since his WWE release last July, Wyatt has not done anything inside the wrestling ring. The only wrestling-related thing he's done was an appearance at WrestleCon in Dallas during WrestleMania weekend. So everybody, I saw those reports. Everybody was saying Bray Wyatt's coming back at WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt's going to be the one to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. All this stuff. It wasn't the case. He was just at WrestleCon. But when they did do the lights, and everybody was bringing out their cell phone lights and everything like that, the fireflies, I kind of did get a little bit of something. But yeah, so he was there at WrestleCon during WrestleMania weekend. there's been a lot of chatter online about when Wyatt could show up in either WWE or AEW. But as of this moment, it does not look like his in-ring return is imminent. In a Twitter post about WWE's interest in FTR, Dave Meltzer stated that WWE would be interested in any top AEW act. Now, an AEW would be interested in any top WWE act. Wyatt was rumored to make the jump into AEW several months ago, but there's been nothing reported on that in quite some time. A fan asked Meltzer about interest in Wyatt from AEW or WWE, and Meltzer responded, quote, his asking price is very high. Wyatt hasn't been seen on WWE TV since the night after last year's WrestleMania, and it appears that he has been in no rush to wrestle, but he did state on his Instagram last month that he could not imagine stepping in the ring once again. He said, "I will always love wrestling. I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life without stepping in that ring again and hearing the roar of the crowd once again. I think about it often. Everything has to be in place though. Like I said, timing is everything." He also said that his health is great. Quote, "I have never been more healthy, both physically and mentally. I have been able to challenge myself with projects that would have never been possible before. This is a happy time for me, but I have to be patient. Timing is everything." Mike Rotunda, who otherwise known to the wrestling world as RRS, his father, was on Jerry Briscoe's and JBL's podcast, and he said that his sons Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are, quote, definitely maybe not done. English aside, with with wrestling, but they're not done with wrestling, but they also have their foot in the door in non-wrestling things as well. It's a very interesting quote saying definitely maybe not done.
Interesting grammar.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We haven't seen not Bray Wyatt. We haven't seen Bray Wyatt in ages, but we also haven't seen Bo Dallas in ages either.
Yeah, that's true.
Bo Dallas, he was released if I'm not mistaken, but he had to have been. He had to have been. I don't think there's really anything in him in WWE.
I think he might have been a part of the 2020 releases.
Okay.
Like during the COVID, like during the pandemic time.
Yeah. So with all that being said, I think the whole Rotunda family are absolute geniuses. When it comes to Bo Dallas, I mean, he never really got a fair shake. In NXT, he did something with the whole NXT championship, or at least chasing it and everything. But when he got to WWE, he was part of the B team and whatever they were doing with him. And then Bray Wyatt family, The Fiend, everything in between. This guy is an absolute genius.
Greatness.
And like you said, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Sorry, I do this all the time on the show, but you said earlier in the actual intro part of the show, you said wherever he was going to be going, no matter what type of character, he's going to be doing something great. So I have all the trust in him in the world for sure.
Of course, his mind, the man's mind is he's a genius. He's a wrestling genius. He's a character genius. I feel like if this man made a movie, it would be one of the best movies of all time. He's that good at character work.
He actually was directing some type of horror movie.
Wow.
During the time that he was away, he was doing something movie related. Now, I don't know if it's ever going to be released or whatever, but he was doing something movie related. So it's funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, I've got to see it because how much say so did you think he have in the Cena versus Fiend match at WrestleMania? I think that was WrestleMania 36.
At Wrestle.
That was the pandemic one, right?
The
Fiend.
that whole Firefly Funhouse thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope he would have had some creative control in that, at least like 50-50. Hopefully. Mainly because, mainly because he just has such a creative mind, and the way that was going on that year, with the whole pandemic, that they were trying to doing those cinematic matches, and with Cena and Wyatt, they told a beautiful story with that cinematic stuff. It was received well. It was. And hopefully, whatever they do, cinematic matches nowadays are probably just going to be so passé. It really wouldn't probably translate well considering the fans are back. But I think, hopefully, wherever that may go, Bray Wyatt, he's going to do something great. I don't know what they're going to do with him. Any company rather, whether that be like, let's say, Impact, AEW, or WWE. I think Bray Wyatt would want to go to a place where he knows he's going to be getting some major exposure. Not saying that Impact is not going to give him major exposure. Impact is really on the rise right now, actually. It's just they're on Twitch, and I don't have access TV, so I can't even watch it every week.
Yeah. Same with me.
I just hope that Bray Wyatt knows. I know Bray Wyatt knows what he's doing, but I just hope that he really takes that time and really believes in what he's saying that timing is everything. We don't know what is going on in his mind, so we got to figure that out. But at the end of the day, I'm supporting and trusting him wherever he is going to go, for sure.
Of course.
So, Bray Wyatt, that's great things for him as the years go on. We'll see where he goes, and honestly, it's going to be an interesting sight to see wherever he may go, whether he goes to TK in AEW or whether he goes back to Vince in WWE. Now, I do want to. That link was not working, so I'm going to go to my notes here on my phone where I actually did have the links, and just read the next story from my phone, because this is going to be a very interesting story to talk about as well. WWE has no plans to ending the brand split anytime soon. So this is great. This is absolutely fantastic. God damn it. Okay, This is, of course, from WrestlingNews.co, and this was reported by Andrew Ravens on that website. And it says in the report, despite WWE merging the titles as of late, there are no plans to having the brand split come to an end anytime soon. There have been some rumors about WWE doing that, but Dave Meltzer noted on Monday's Wrestling Observer newsletter. I have to acknowledge that this report came out on the 19th of April, so that Monday's Wrestling Observer daily update, that WWE does not plan on merging the Raw and SmackDown rosters together. With anything in WWE, plans can change at any moment. WWE merged the WWE and Universal titles at WrestleMania, with Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar in a winner-take-all match at WrestleMania. They've already confirmed that the Raw and Tag Team titles, the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team titles, are going to be unified, as well as RK Bro will take on the Usos at WrestleMania Backlash in like a couple of weeks. Regardless, regarding Reigns, Meltzer noted that the Tribal Chief is expected to headline WrestleMania Backlash. However, we don't know his opponent. And it's just simple as that. We just don't know his opponent. And on that post-WrestleMania episode of SmackDown, Reigns did attack Shinsuke Nakamura with his cousins, the Usos, but they completely scrapped that as the Usos. Well, not I believe. Yeah, the Usos, RK Bro, and Shinsuke Nakamura were lumberjacks, and now lumberjack match against Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, and that's a whole other different story for another day. I can't believe we're having that match for a fourth week in a row, but that's like I said, another thing for another day. WWE is advertising Reigns to defending the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Drew McIntyre on the WWE's UK tour, which is actually what they're on right now. This upcoming Smackdown is taped. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's taped.
I've known. I've tried to not see the results. So like when I watch it, everything is like new to me.
Right.
But that's why I don't think Roman is having an opponent at Backlash, even if he is slotted to be the main event. Because if they do, that means they're gonna have a week to build this. They're gonna have a week to build a rushed match at Backlash. I don't think it's gonna be Drew and Roman that are gonna rush. Like that's too big. Like that's kind of the only money match they got on SmackDown.
You save that for the UK pay-per-view that happens in September for me.
Of course.
You save it for that. But so with that being said, against Drew McIntyre at the WWE UK's tour later on this month, which is actually happening right now, like I said, which does take place before WrestleMania Backlash. Although the feud could be saved for, there you go. See, I'm Nostradamus. It says here in the report saying that WWE could be saving this for their upcoming UK Stadium show in September if the company wanted to go in that direction. So I'm Nostradamus, like that report is saying, but it's the only thing that makes sense for that UK show. Having Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns makes sense.
Speaking of these stadium shows, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all of the stadium shows. Did you hear that Money in the Bank was going to be a stadium show?
It's in Allegiant Stadium, I believe, or
I hate it.
The Vegas Raiders. The Vegas Raiders, yeah.
And the sole fact is that it kind of dilutes WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is safe for the stadiums and all that. Maybe SummerSlam could be a stadium because that second biggest show of the year. But Money in the Bank being a stadium show, Elimination Chamber being a stadium show, it's kind of just, I don't know, it's kind of just too much.
Well, wait, where's Elimination Chamber going to be?
Elimination, this year it was this year it was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, that's right, because that was the Lita and Becky Lynch situation. Yeah. But you were saying last year, I believe something happened too, right, with the Elimination Chamber, or was that a stadium show, or no? I don't think so.
No, not last year.
No. So, the stadium shows. Well, first of all, I'm very glad that the UK is actually getting something back, because the UK fans are absolutely phenomenal over there.
They're great, man.
They always crazy,
have the energy. They always bring the energy, bro. I love it. I love it when they're over there. I love it.
Like the UK fans cheer the heels and they boo the goddamn and they boo the baby faces, and it's just like it's like the Raw after WrestleMania, or what the Raw after WrestleMania should be each and every time we go over there to the UK.
That is a Raw after WrestleMania crowd, of course.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. But at the end of the day, I think with the brand split, you unify the world titles, you're unifying the tag titles. In my mind, and I know a lot of people jumped down my throat when I said this too, but unifying the women's championships, that could either go both ways. You're not unifying the Intercontinental in the United States, no matter how pointless they are.
That should never happen. I feel like that should never happen.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. But when you have two sets of tag titles, when you have two sets of women's championships, that don't really mean a thing.
Yeah.
It's the tag titles made sense because you have like 2 teams on Friday Night SmackDown and 3 teams on Raw. That does not constitute a tag team division on any of those shows.
Of course.
Hell, even 5. Even 5. When you merge the tag team division together, that's not really a tag team division, but at least it's better. At least it's somewhat better. But then again, AEW has like 19 tag teams in their tag team division, so
But would you rather be like what, over ammo or like under ammo? Not have enough ammo or have too much ammo? You know what I'm saying? It's like
exactly.
it's kind of like it's weird because WWE backs themselves into these corners every single time. They break up all of their tag team. Why is the Hurt Business broken up? There is no reason why the Hurt Business should be broken up. At least Cedric and Shelton should be doing something.
Yeah.
There is no reason. I don't get it, man. I don't know why they hate tag teams. The only teams they get to stay together are the Bloodline. Like that's pretty much it.
Here's the thing: when Alpha Academy I said the tag team right, Alpha Academy this time, right?
Yeah,
I said that right. I said that right. I did not call him American Alpha. I did not call him American Alpha. I've been calling them that for the past 5 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
Alpha, I miss you, Jason Jordan. Seriously, I know you're doing your thing in WWE when it comes to producing for the women, but man, just come back, please. I love it.
Great. It was great.
But Alpha Academy, when that tag team started up, first of all, that was as soon as Tucker got released. So I was like, why the hell is Jason Jason Jordan's on my mind now. Why is Chad Gable, of all people, trying to bring in Otis into the fold? But Otis has made Gable better. Gable has made Otis better. That tag team has been absolutely great to see.
It is amazing. The charisma of Chad Gable. The charisma of Chad Gable is shining through.
Yes.
He's great.
This is the best, and I've said this multiple times on this podcast. This is the best work of Chad Gable's career right now.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Of course.
Including American Alpha.
Oh, man, of course. Because he's never got to be this charismatic. It's crazy. He actually has, like, a character now.
Just like Chris Jericho got the click of a pen over when he was doing the list. He got shoosh over with the fans. And it is absolutely phenomenal to see Chad Gable in the best work of his career right now. I see you, Scott, in the chat. How are you, my man? But yeah, it's awesome to see them going at it. You got the Usos, you got RK Bro. RK Bro is phenomenal, even though their tag team matches kind of seem formulaic at this point now with Riddle getting
Randy Orton
beating up
hot tag
and the hot tag. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's formulaic, but it's Randy Orton hot tag. Who else cannot really be excited about it?
Most things in WWE. That's the New Day is a sad case.
Yeah, the New Day is kind of not really doing anything anymore. I don't even think they're even being called the New Day now because.
Well, they were restraining from calling the New Day for a little bit while it was Kofi and Big E. But now that Xavier and Kofi is just not, they're just straight up calling the New Day. And one thing I don't like is how they got rid of Xavier's new theme song. Because it's like, these characters are supposed to evolve. Like, you see how Seth has evolved, Roman has evolved. Xavier Woods getting his own theme and becoming the king. That was supposed to be his moment to really break from his shadow. But now they just put him back in the same position. It's the definition of insanity with WWE.
Yeah. And you're right. I'm just gonna call you Clay because I don't want to butcher the first name of your comment here. But RK Bro could be breaking up at Backlash, which Here's the thing. I've been wanting a little split for RK Bro for a little bit now, considering how long it's been going on. First of all, RK Bro was never supposed to be this successful. It was never supposed to be this successful. Multiple reports come out saying that this was only supposed to last a couple of months, and then Randy was supposed to turn on Riddle because of the antics that Riddle usually does.
Right.
But it's just gotten so over that they're like, we can't break you guys up now. You guys have to continue doing this, and they have. Randy said on Raw last.
You go ahead.
Randy said on Raw last night that this is like he's so happy doing this right now. Like this is the happiest time that he's kind of really been in his entire career, which I fully believe that was the truth when he said that last night, because you could see the legit like happiness on his face knowing what he's been doing in RK Bro. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's great. Every time he's there, you can just see. You could just see it. He's loving what he's doing, and I would agree. I think JD said it. He was like, at being a tag, like you're in a tag team, it's less strain on you. You know, the matches go by easier. The matches go by smoother. Randy has a great schedule right now. He has a great schedule. It's amazing. I don't blame him.
Yeah, so this is gonna be. I like that the tag team titles are merging. I wanted the world title, like the world titles merging. That was either a hit or a miss, depending on whoever you talk to. But the main titles that really needed to be merged were the tag titles, and if depending on who you talk to, the women's titles as well. Maybe the women's titles can go down in the future, but the tag titles really need to be merged, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah.
But WWE still has a brand split, so we're gonna have to figure that out as that goes through the air. Clay, you're asking if Cena's coming back. He is slated to come back for the SummerSlam. It's going to be an interesting thing to see because I don't think he's going up against Roman again. They can't do that again.
People are saying Edge.
I would love it.
People are saying Edge, and it would be great. It would be great. A retelling of old rivals. Isn't Edge like Cena's greatest rival or one of his greatest?
It's one of. It's for sure.
At least.
You can say Randy Orton's probably one of his greatest. You can, because they've been saying they've had like over 150 matches or something or whatever the stipulation is, or whatever or whatever the actual number is.
Oh my goodness.
Edge and everything like that robbery was absolutely phenomenal as well, especially with Edge having this whole other side of him. Sorry for the puns. You guys can boo me in the chat. I know you guys love to boo people when there's puns involved. That's what they do here. They either throw tomatoes at me whenever I do a pun, or they boo me. They put tomatoes in the chat. But regardless, it's especially with that whole new side of Edge, I think it would be perfect for Cena to come back. And Martin, have I played the 2K22 Bonsai Pack? I did. I played as Umaga first. Umaga's fantastic. I did Umaga versus William Regal, or Umanga, as Regal would call him. And it's absolutely cool to see that we got that Bonsai Pack for 2K22. But yeah, I mean, WWE brand split not ending anytime soon, but we'll see where that goes from there. I really hope they do something with it, because that's not really the best way to go about things.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they know what they're doing. I think I don't know. I don't like I'm just picturing. I know it because Cody's going to be the guy to beat Roman. There's no one else. Yeah. Like there's legit no one else. But I'm just picturing that they have him beat Cody. They have Cody beat him for just the WWE title and not both the titles, just the WWE title. I'm picturing it. And then that would be a great way for them to keep the title on Roman so they could get to WrestleMania and do the Rock match.
Because here's the thing. When they did, when Becky had both the women's championships, and they kind of merged out there for a little bit when they did that. I believe it was at Money in the Bank that year. Yep. She had two championship matches. Yep. One for the Raw and one for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I believe it was like Charlotte. I was there. I was there at that pay-per-view. I should know it.
Was it Lacey Evans?
I believe
she was.
That's it.
She was involved.
That's it.
And I think Bayley cashed in.
Bayley cashed in that same night to win the SmackDown title.
Yeah.
And they had that thing going on with her. So I would not be shocked at all if Roman had to defend both championships one-on-one, like just doing it in two separate times.
2 times in one night. He fights in the opening match and then fights in the main event.
Roman said he's either going to be the beginning of the show or the end of the show. He's never going to be in the middle. So,
which is great. I love it. I love that.
And that was great whenever he said that. I believe as soon as he turned into this whole tribal chief thing.
Yes, I love it.
But that whole big presentation of the tribal chief, you should only be on the beginning or end of the show. Like you shouldn't be in the middle.
Yeah, he's the main attraction. That's the main attraction. You can't have
That's
him.
The only thing that's keeping me interested on SmackDown. Seriously.
Bro, without Roman, someone said, and I don't know why, but people keep saying Roman shouldn't be the champion no more. I'm like, bro, you don't understand. Without Roman as the world champion of that show, SmackDown has nothing. They have nothing.
Raw has nothing now either, though, because nobody's fighting for a world championship, but not having a title.
They basically don't have a world title on Raw. Basically,
no. Because Roman doesn't show up on Raw. Roman doesn't show up.
They don't know what they're doing. WWE, I don't know. It's mind-boggling. It leaves me speechless. I can't even. It's like they have the easy way to go. There's the easy way to do things, but they just turn on whatever lane and just do it the weird way. I don't know why. And it's funny because they unified the championships, but Cody is back. Cody could have been the WWE champion of Raw, where Roman is the champion of SmackDown, and they could have had two big stars on each shows. Yeah. But they just had to have the unification match. So I guess.
It's strange, man. It's really strange. But I like that they kind of unified the titles for Roman and all. But if Roman's only going to show up on one show, what does Raw have to fight for? The United States title? The United States title is pointless right now. And the main story on Raw is the tag team title match. And one half of that is because of the bloodline with the Usos. I don't know. This is the kind of stuff that I try to explain to people, and nobody understands it.
They don't understand it, bro.
Nobody understands it other than me, the rest of the OTB family, and the rest of the actual people that are associated with this podcast, and now you. And now you. So it's insane. It's insane.
I don't know how people don't see it. I don't know. Because I was under the impression that, okay, great, we have Roman on Raw and SmackDown. He has two brands of opponents to choose from. But he's still acting like he's just the SmackDown Universal Champion. And it's weird. It doesn't make any type of sense. It's kind of like when Brock was doing it. Back when he was feuding with Roman, like right before WrestleMania. And he was a WWE Champion, but he was only showing up on SmackDown. And it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
When they were doing that feud, it should have been built on both Raw and SmackDown, considering those are the two championships for Raw and SmackDown. It made the most sense to do it, but it's WWE logic right there. And also, I feel like they're not going to do the brand split because they're not going to end the brand split because of the networks.
Exactly. It's
the network's fault for doing this.
They're how much is Fox? Is Fox paying them $1 billion?
It's like $1 billion some odd dollars for SmackDown, which is not the right asking price if you're asking me when it comes to the quality of the product.
When you're getting Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre in a gauntlet match
for 4 weeks in a fucking row,
Shanky and Ricochet as your IC title match, and you're asking for $1 billion?
Jinder Mahal is going to be Intercontinental Champion. I want you to prepare for that right now.
Don't say that.
I just see it, bro. I see it.
Oh my gosh! Don't say that.
WrestleMania Backlash, Ricochet. It's gonna be the pre-show. It's gonna be the pre-show because that's how bad the Intercontinental title is.
That's
Ricochet versus Jinder Mahal. It's good.
I'm getting PTSD already from this WWE title reign. I'm getting PTSD.
Intercontinental Championship don't mean shit. So doesn't the United States title.
It's sad. It's so sad because how those titles have fallen is so sad.
But yeah, and so it's the network's fault. I understand NBC and I understand USA. NBC Universal is for Fox. Yeah, so I understand those two networks want the two separate rosters because Fox really desperately wanted Ronda Rousey I don't know why, but
speaking of NBC, did you see their advertisement?
I saw that advertisement, and I wanted to talk to you about that because you know what? That's completely false advertisement in terms of the internal line sheets. Because really? Bobby Lashley is the number one babyface on Monday Night Raw, not Cody.
I don't know how that even makes sense. To be honest, I don't know. Did you see the baby faces for the women's division on Raw?
I did not.
You? I think it's Bianca.
They only did the men on that one.
And I've heard Dana Brooke. I've heard Dana Brooke. I've heard Bianca, and then Dana Brooke was right under that.
Dana Brooke, the number 2 babyface in all of WWE.
Oh my gosh!
Blasphemy, people! Blasphemy.
Oh my God. Well, of course, Oscar is back now, so it's like now the list is getting a little better, but still.
Yeah. Well, Bianca Belair makes sense. I mean, that's obvious right there because of how beloved she is. But Dana Brooke, Dana Brooke, the statistician of Titus Catering. There's something to be said if the 24/7 title holder is the number 2 babyface in all of professional wrestling or WWE in that case.
And it's crazy because this is the best show that WWE has to offer, and that's the NXT. It's crazy. And the people look at me and say that WWE is wiping the floor with AEW. I'm like, bro, are we watching the same shows? We can't be watching the same shows.
Listen, the viewership when it comes to AEW versus WWE don't mean shit. Okay?
Oh my goodness. And it's crazy. People
say 1.613 million viewers on Monday. That's a terrible rating. Okay? That's a terrible viewership. Listen, AEW don't get 1 million viewers every single week, but like
for a 3-year company, they are not doing bad at all.
Exactly.
And they are exceeding their viewers. They're exceeding their viewership. That's asked to them by they're with TNT now, right?
They're on TBS for Dynamite
TBS,
and TNT.
TBS, okay.
They're on TNT for Rampage. So
okay, so I've heard they've been, especially for Dynamite, they've been exceeding their viewers, and that's really all that matters.
Yes,
they're definitely exceeding. They're definitely beating WWE when it comes to writing. I don't care where. Like anybody can argue with me that all day. They're definitely destroying WWE when it comes to writing. It's not even funny.
You see what my name is on TikTok now, Phil Khan. People have called me Phil Khan because apparently I'm an AEW shill.
Oh my goodness!
For their product,
bro. I got called an AEW fanboy and a WWE fanboy in the same day. An AEW hater and a WWE hater in the same day. Not the same person. That would be crazy. Now that would be crazy. But in the same day, it's just crazy how people. Their perceptions are so skewed, and they have this like it's like a team thing, or like it's like, bro, these are both wrestling companies. You can enjoy both of the companies.
Yes,
you don't have to grab on the one cup. It doesn't even make sense to do that.
I've been an AEW. I watched AEW since day one. I've been a WWE fan since 2009, 2010. Okay, I came into it late, I know, but I was not allowed to watch professional wrestling during the early days of it, or at least early in my life. 2009, 2010 was when I started, so I've been a fan for WWE for years, decades at this point. AEW may be only 3 years old, but they're just doing the better product because of long-term booking. I don't care what anybody says. Long-term booking is the way to go in professional wrestling. WWE does not know how to do that.
They know how to do convenient booking, and then people will call it long-term booking. Like the Becky Lynch and Bianca. I don't think that was long-term booking. You can't convince
Becky Lynch was not long-term.
You can't convince me that was the only. And I'll say that I will die on this hill. The only reason Bianca had that title match against Becky is because the networks wanted Ronda to go to SmackDown. Yeah. If it was up to WWE, their match would have been Becky versus Ronda for the Raw Women's title.
Yes.
If
Ronda was not wanted by Fox, and if Charlotte kind of manipulated her way to get to Charlotte or to get to Ronda, then it would have been Charlotte. It would have been probably And it would probably, if Bayley was still here right now, it probably would have been Charlotte and Bayley, and it probably would have been Ronda and Becky. Ronda and Becky is going to happen at 39. I don't care what anybody says. Becky is going to be Raw Women's Champion at 39.
That match is going to happen. That match, it has to.
Yeah,
it has to.
And especially with what happened at 30, whatever WrestleMania that was. I believe 35, and they had the triple threat.
35. They had the triple threat.
Yeah, so especially with what happened over there and that story, you're gonna have to have that match there at 39. Plus, that's marquee. Even if I don't like whatever Becky Lynch is doing right now, that is a marquee match.
Becky or Ronda, I don't know what they have going on.
That's very true for Ronda too. Ronda Rousey. I've used that because of JD. That is her.
That is
absolutely done it.
That is her nickname now. That's what we're calling her because when she comes on here, you can tell she. I don't know where her enthusiasm went. I don't know how you get. Sleep. I don't know how you get worse on the mic through the years, but she's done it.
She puts me to sleep. She keeps slapping hands and kissing babies and all that stuff when she's a natural born heel. I mean, everybody wants to boo her.
Like the person Ronda Rousey is a heel. It's crazy. I've never seen this before. The actual person is a heel, but she's playing babyface on TV. It's crazy. Like the stuff she says about the fans, she's a heel. Yeah. She said it. She hates the fans, and they don't like her. No. It's a mutual relationship.
Yeah. Ever since you said that you don't like us, we're just going to reciprocate that exact same feeling towards you. So get ready. And but yeah, I've always adopted that whole Ronda Rousey thing, and it's been an absolute gold of mine since that happened.
Hilarious. It's accurate too.
It is. Because I fell asleep during the contract match. No lie. Contract signing. No lie. And then when I saw the replay of Charlotte flipping the table, like JD said, she was holding her arm like she didn't even know that was going to happen. Well, here's the thing. Maybe she didn't, or maybe they didn't really go over what the heck was going to happen. But regardless, you should know. You should know.
I've heard about Charlotte making people look bad, like trying to make belittle and trying to make people look bad on TV, especially with the Becky incident.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Don't, dude. If you were ever listening to the podcast during that entire time, bro, I was going all in on both of them because I feel like both of them were at fault. Becky is not the person. Becky is not the person she once was, and Charlotte was never the person that anybody has ever thought her to be.
It's two egos. It's two big egos.
Yes,
and that's what happens when they clash.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
But yeah, we were talking about the brands, but we kind of went on tangents. But you know what? That happens all the time here, so you're not at fault at all.
Hey, that's how you know the conversation is great. This is a great conversation. This is so good.
Yes. Great. But yeah, guys, that were all the 4 minor stories heading into the big story that we got for you guys here tonight. And man, we're finally going to get into it. Triple H opens up with The Athletic when it comes to NXT 2.0, competition with AEW, and much more. Wow. Now, this is by Chris Vanini on The Republic, not The Republic, The Athletic. And the report goes as follows. 2.5 weeks ago, this was reported on the 18th of April. So 2.5 weeks ago from that point, I spent time at the WWE tryouts to see how the company is going all in on the youth movement of the college athletes. How WWE is focusing on college athletes differs from the why. The why is more complicated. It involves a lot of inside wrestling conversation, and the aforementioned story already was long, so I did not include it in the report. But after the response to the story and numerous comments about the change in NXT and the competition with AEW, I figured I should write a bit more from the interview with Paul Levesque, WWE's Executive Vice President, Global Talent Strategy and Development, known in the wrestling world as Triple H. We spent almost 30 minutes after one day of the tryout, and I was grateful for his time. He doesn't do many of these interviews like that, so I asked him about NXT, AEW, and the change to the WWE developmental system he's led for a decade. It's been on the minds of wrestling fans for years. It's all just doesn't fit into the original story. WWE's move away from signing so many independent wrestlers was prioritized within the wrestling world, was polarizing, I should say, within the wrestling world. Even some people in the company were unsure about it. The move also came during the year in which NXT cut a large number of WWE cut a large member of both NXT and main roster talent, but the 7-ish months since that shift, the company feels that they are in a good change of direction. NXT 2.0 has found its footing, so they say in this report. It's become a solid show, and the ratings have been consistent. More importantly, they believe they're creating new and young generation of stars in the pipeline. Officials were beyond pleased with the potential they found in the tryout. The NIL deals are getting WWE in with top-notch talent, college athletes, I should say, like Gable Steveson. We all know Gable Steveson. With Levesque now back to work full time after a health scare last year, and with his in-ring career officially coming to a close, he'll be more directly involved with the developmental again. He loves the scouting aspect of the business and was invigorated by the tryout. So why make the talent shift? And what's the goal? Here's more on the conversation with Paul Levesque. First of all, let's go over just that part of his intro into all of this. I don't know what they're talking about when it comes to NXT having their footing. I believe NXT 2.0 is probably oh god, what can I say without really without really canceled here. NXT 2.0 is not for me, and it's been not for me for pretty much since the get-go. I don't think NXT really needed a change. NXT Black and Gold will always live in my heart regardless of whatever the heck it is. And saying that it's a solid show, that does not really constitute the actual product that they are putting out there right now. And the ratings being consistent, if you call 500,000 to 600,000 viewers consistent, that's it's not really the kind of look that I feel like NXT should be going for. They are creating new and younger generation of stars. My bad. You got guys like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and many others in that pipeline, especially with the women's division over there. Raquel Gonzalez.
The women's division looks great.
Yeah. Raquel Gonzalez. I'm not calling her the other one.
The name changes. Oh my god.
It's Rodriguez now, but it's Gonzalez. And here's the thing. I don't want her name changed, even though I know her name is going to get changed whenever she finally gets called up. But Dakota Kai has been in NXT for goddamn 8 years. She's been ready for like 5 of those 8 years. You can do something with that. But the women's division is great over there. I do really believe in that women's division. The tag team division, at least, is over there as well. They got some good stuff over there with the young stars. I will say that. It's just the booking of this stuff is not really for me. Have you gotten to take a look at NXT 2.0? And if you have, what's your real thoughts on it? Because just not for me.
Okay. You can when you watch it, you can tell it's not a Triple H NXT. You could tell it's a Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon NXT.
Yes.
Especially with look who that top guy is, Braun Breaker. You know, it's like you can just see, especially with the booking. You can see, and then you got people from the main roster coming into NXT. That would have never float. That would have never fly back in like the black and gold NXT.
No.
The only time that happened was when Survivor Series or when like someone like Finn Balor was coming back, and that was it. So it's like, I think this new NXT 2.0, I think it has potential, but it just will never be black and gold.
Yeah.
It just won't be black and gold. We won't get those special takeovers we used to get back in like 2019, 28. We wouldn't get the matches like I think it was Revival versus DIY, one of the best. That's probably one of my favorite tag matches of all time.
Yeah.
Revival versus,
match is fantastic.
We won't get takeovers like, man, there's so many to choose from.
Gargano and Ciampa rivalry is,
oh my goodness, one of the greatest.
A mainstay.
That is amazing. That's one of the greatest WWE rivalries of all time. It's great. But you can tell it's just not the same.
NXT takeovers were probably some of, if not the best pay-per-view like shows that WWE has like almost ever produced, especially within the last decade.
They were better than the WWE pay-per-views.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah. And especially when they were pairing like some to like the actual big four pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people were even going out of their way more to watch the NXT takeovers other than the actual product that was going on that Sunday.
Of course.
And now they're not even being called takeovers anymore. They took takeover away from that, and like they at Stand and Deliver, they did something called NXT Stand and Deliver. We all know that before it was called NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver when they were doing their thing back at that first WrestleMania, but now they're just calling it NXT Stand and Deliver, and they took the entire takeover name out of it.
They're just stripping everything away that Triple H
away from Triple H. Everything.
It doesn't make, and then they want to do it so bad to the point where even when the guys from NXT and the girls get called up, they changed their name, they changed their gimmick. I'm surprised Ciampa still has the name Ciampa. I'm surprised he isn't named Tommy.
I'm surprised, like Tommy Salami or something like that, or something off the deli menu. Seriously, they did that to Ludwig Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
They did it to Walter. They did it to Walter a long time ago, and maybe people are kind of getting used to it, but nobody's ever gonna really get used to Gunther, ever. And the way that they're actually using him right now on SmackDown, there's no reaction, so you fucking messed that up.
Yeah.
But they got guys like Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker. You got guys over there.
The future is looking bright.
They don't.
Of course.
It's just it's not for me with the way that they're booking this. Like Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell making out on the shows every single week, along with Persia Pirotta and Duke Hudson. They legitimately had a makeout contest on a couple of weeks ago on NXT 2.0. That's Raw 2.0, if you ask me. like you're booking Raw on SmackDown.
It's a Monday Night Raw extension, basically. You can tell, like I said, it's Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon NXT. It's what they would do if they took control of NXT, and we're seeing it firsthand.
Yeah.
I don't know when or if Triple H will ever get his control back, but I hope he gets his control back.
And guys, Shawn Michaels is not doing anything back there either. You can believe that. Shawn Michaels is not doing a single thing. He might be back there. He might be back there with those guys, but he's not getting any type of influence over there.
And I just remember William Regal is in AEW now. So it's like
every single person that Triple H had in his on his team for NXT 2.0 got fired. Every single person.
And it was a punishment.
Yeah, it's a exactly. It's a punishment. They took away black and gold. They had Braun Breaker kick not once, but twice the black and gold logo of NXT when they were doing his first few entrances into the NXT fold for NXT 2.0. If you're kicking a statue of the old NXT logo, I don't even know what's more disrespectful than that. Seriously. And
they're telling
it's
you
not only disrespectful to Triple H, but I've been saying this for a little bit now too. It's disrespectful to Dusty.
Of course.
It's disrespectful to Dusty because Dusty was really the whole mind of all of this.
Of course.
Remember NXT? Well, it was FCW before, but then the first few episodes of NXT, like with guys like Seth Rollins, I believe Cesaro was over there. They were doing the whole first ever NXT Championship tournament, and I believe it was Seth Rollins, and I believe. I completely am blanking on his opponent, but Seth Rollins was the first ever NXT champion, and it was handed to him by Dusty Rhodes. And you know, it's not only disrespectful to Triple H about what has gone down with NXT, but it's also disrespectful to Dusty, and that's always going to be my mindset. At the end of the day, NXT is not like it was, and NXT is never going to be like it was with Triple H not being at the helm, and it's going to be Vince and Bruce. It's just what it is at this point in time, and it sucks.
It sucks because he didn't ask for this. Triple H didn't. He didn't want to compete with AEW. I don't think Triple H truly wanted to. I don't think he cared about it. I don't think he just wanted to put on the greatest show he could put on, and he was doing that until they moved it to USA.
Yes.
They expanded it to 2 hours. They was doing good against AEW, and then they eventually lost the battle, and then Triple H had to get punished because Vince got embarrassed, pretty much.
Yeah, he got embarrassed. NXT 1 hour on the WWE Network was can't miss. I watched it every single week.
Great. It was great.
And they said, like, oh yeah, we had to get it to a TV deal because of how much of a cult following it was. You didn't have to, man. There's nothing that needed to be changed. You didn't have to get it to a TV deal. I understand what they were trying to do with that, but you really didn't need to do it.
Of course. And it's like, I think I forgot who touched on it, but it's too many. WWE has too many hours of television. Yeah. It doesn't even let you breathe. You got 3 hours of Raw to watch on Monday, and then the next day you got 2 hours of NXT to watch, and then Friday you have 2 hours of the worst wrestling show they have to offer, Smackdown, which is crazy that I have to say that. Yeah. It's too many hours of television, and I feel like the 1 hour NXT was a great look in between Raw and SmackDown. It was perfect.
I mean, but that's still 6 hours during the week, but still, at least the 1 hour was really easy to digest. 1 hour was easy to digest, and the stories actually made so much of that show.
Of course.
But going on then to report, this goes on into growing the pool of talent. My biggest takeaway from the WWE trial was the company is essentially making its own wrestling school. There will be many more new wrestlers in the business because of this, whether they stick in WWE or end up elsewhere. Levesque kept coming back to the idea of the original purpose of the Performance Center and developmental was to create a path into WWE. The NXT Golden Era from 2014 to 2019 thrived largely because they signed so many independent superstars, which is true. You got guys like Adam Cole and many other independent superstars that came to WWE through 2014 to 2019, and that made NXT what it was. He kind of built his own super indie show, and
it was great.
It was great, like you said. So this is a quote directly from Triple H at this point now. It always bothered me, like, to get into wrestling in the past, you've almost had to, you almost got to be someone with nothing else going on, or can take no for an answer and dig and dig and dig. But that pool is so small. People trying to get into the business, end quote. He said, as I meet more people and you become savvy in the world of athletes, you realize that the NFL is letting go 500 players a year. You look at the massive pool of incredible athletes from all sports. If you look at if you take the pool and 10 or 5% have big personalities that would be good for your business, you're talking about a talent pool that's 1,000 times bigger than right now, end quote. It doesn't mean WWE won't sign established superstars. The company just got Cody Rhodes from AEW, but and this isn't a quote from Triple H at this point. That was the end of it. So this is the actual writer talking now. This doesn't mean that WWE won't establish wrestlers. The company just got Cody Rhodes from AEW, but it wants more options, especially younger options. Among more recent NXT alumni, Finn Balor is at the age of 40 years old, Damian Priest is at the age of 39, and Tommaso Ciampa is 36. The idea is to create wrestlers that are in their early 20s. That is the goal. Levesque also knows they'll probably pass on some who make it big elsewhere, but that's not a bad thing. Yes, it is.
That's
yes,
horrible.
It is.
That's horrible.
You should not determine a superstar to sign with a company based on their age. Finn Balor is 40 years old. That's not bad. 39.
It's insanity because you think the guy that was just WWE champion, is he not in his 40s? The man who was just WWE champion before Roman. Well, how old is Brock? He's like 40.
Let me look at Brock's age. Brock Lesnar. He is 44.
Of course. So it's kind of funny they say that. I'll say, and it's crazy. The age shouldn't matter, bro.
Roman Reigns is 36, and they're saying that in this report, Ciampa is 36 as well. So, in that standard, is Roman Reigns too old?
He would have to be.
So
by their standards.
Damian Priest is 39, and he looks great right now.
It's a lot of times WWE. A lot of the times WWE is a walking contradiction. Like all they do is contradict themselves. That's actually a perfect point to do. It's crazy. I don't understand it.
So it's crazy to even say that, but this is a quote now from Triple H. Are there going to be some that we miss where they say they'll say in the business, go find somebody else to train them? Yeah, but that's good for them. He said probably sooner or later we're going to see them and realize we were wrong and should have hired them. And at some point, they'll want to be a part of the biggest promotion in the world or come back here. I don't know what Triple H really means by that. I understand where you're saying, like, oh, yeah, we might pass on some people. Sure. But if they're going to make a name elsewhere and then they're like, oh, yeah, we want you now because you're a bigger name. You made yourself a bigger name to come back here. That's being A, petty at that point, and B, I feel like that's kind of like what you're doing with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was nothing. He went to AEW or made AEW, was on Ring of Honor and other independent talents, made himself a bigger star, and now all of a sudden you wanted Cody Rhodes back.
They got him back, and now he's the biggest star on Monday Night Raw. Whatever. And
they're doing it with FTR
forget what
now.
That list said.
They want FTR.
It's I don't know what it is with WWE. They have an ego.
So far, this is very corporate answers by Triple H.
You know it was going to be. Yeah. I don't think like you would probably have to get them in a room with no cameras, no microphone, no nothing. They actually get an actual answer, and even then, it might still be corporate.
Yeah,
because Triple H is he has that loyalty to Vince.
yeah,
A lot of people have that
yeah.
loyalty to Vince. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but
No.
it kind of clouds their judgment, I feel.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Now we're getting into the move to NXT 2.0. NXT brands changed and TV moved to Tuesday nights was seen by many as admission to defeat after going head to head with AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights, and it coincide with the youth movement. It also largely came while Triple H was out of the picture following his health scare. As we all know what happened with his health scare over the last year. But he defended the move and said that the shift was always part of the plan. I don't buy that for a second, but we'll go into the quote. This is a quote from Triple H now at this point. There was always a point where it was under the WWE network, where it was on the WWE network, had a cult following, like I was saying earlier, and was needed to be on television. I really didn't think so, but they think they needed it to happen. Levesque said, "How do we do that? We need more. We need more experience. We need to professionalize this a little bit to make the product to where fans want it to be." We got them to that point. The pandemic messed things up a little bit because it was right when the TV deal happened, and that's when we had to shift our focus doing it in front of no people. I'm going to stop there because I 100% agree with that point at least. The pandemic really, really took away what NXT really was, and that was the fans, for sure.
That took away what wrestling was a lot.
Yes.
There was a point where I was watching only the pay-per-views because it didn't feel like wrestling to me.
Yeah.
And then when the Thunderdome came back, of course that intrigued me a little bit more. Then it got me into it, but it's like you kind of realize how big the fans really are. How big of a especially the NXT fans, because their chants are amazing. The NXT fans have the best chants in probably all of wrestling.
Full Sail University and that entire crowd was fantastic.
They were amazing.
And I understand, well, NXT now, it's still in the Performance Center. I don't know if you knew that or not, but they're still in the Performance Center. They're actually they've allowed people inside the Performance Center to be in the crowd and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are crowds. First of all, they're still behind. They're behind plexiglass still. It's not like the full plexiglass where they have to actually bang on it. It's just like to waist level and everything, but they're still in plexiglass. It's still in the Performance Center, and they've never moved. They have never moved. It's been in the Performance Center since the beginning of the pandemic era, since 2019. That's not. See, that's also a problem I have with it, because if you're going to have this whole new presentation for NXT, I think you would want to get it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Instead of just one specific place.
At least in some type of studio.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Thunderdome type studio or something.
And I understand.
Like with fans.
I understand to a point where it came to the contract with Full Sail expired.
Yeah.
They had a contract with Full Sail, which is why they were there for so long. That expired. So they had to figure out something on the fly, but the Performance Center was not the right way to go about it.
It doesn't come off, and what they've done with the stage and everything, and how the arena looks, they're getting there, they're building something, but it hasn't come off as a brand or TV, like a TV show. It hasn't come off as like NXT. This is NXT. It's just come off as developmental, which is what NXT is, but it
They're
has
trying to
it
tell it as
always
developmental now, but before it was a legit brand.
Of course, like that's and it just doesn't have the same feeling, especially in the performance center.
Yeah. So he said the pandemic messed it up a bit, which I completely feel in agreement with. It
100%.
completely altered the way we were doing things. We couldn't recruit or train talent for almost 2 years, but the show stayed. Then we said, okay, let's reboot it and go back to what we originally were. Some of these people won't be ready for television, but we're going to put them on television, and we believe that the audience will get invested enough that the numbers might come down. But the core group of the fans will stay, and now you're creating fresh stars all the time. That's where we are now. The numbers have stabilized. See that right there? You're not ready for television, but we're going to put you on television and hope that the fans are going to be the ones that get them over at the end of the day.
That sounds like a setup for failure.
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
You can't just rely on fans. You gotta get these guys ready for TV,
but that's the Bruce Pritchard, Vince McMahon way of booking. Yes. That's the way they book. That's the way that Vince always booked. If you really think about it, especially back in the 80s, the silly gimmicks he had people. What he had one guy come out as a bill collector. Kane was a dentist. Like it's always been the WWE way to do that. It's very outdated, and I think they need to stop it because they're killing talent.
Yeah. So you continue to say people like Braun Breaker, he's been training for a year. Half the women, they've been here for a year maybe. There's a lot that's just so fresh and new. People used to say the constant churn of NXT was a negative. The churn is what's great about it. The people here now, hopefully a year and a half from now, none of them are going to be in NXT anymore. And the ones that make it will be on Raw and SmackDown. And that's the magic. It's truly the developmental league here now. And the college football, AAA baseball, they're not all quite ready to be in the major leagues right now, but you're developing them before they become household athletes. I'm a baseball fan, and here's the thing, and this might anger people, but I was born and raised a Yankee fan. I'm kind of going to use the analogy that that JD used on his show when he was doing this whole breakdown of this article as well. He said that if you just walk up to the street and ask me who is a part of the AAA team for the Braves, he couldn't tell you a single word. I couldn't tell you a single name from the Yankees AAA team. Do I care? Yeah. Like he said, I care about that, but I don't care to know the people's names.
Yeah.
I understand to a point where you're trying to say, you're trying to develop these guys fast so they can make it to Raw and SmackDown. But if you're developing them fast, there's no right way to get them over with the fans. You're just going to
no connection.
Develop them for a year and just go.
Yeah. It's going to be no connection. It's going to be a setting them up for failure, of course. I don't know. I truly don't know.
Braun Breaker won the NXT Championship on Raw to Dolph Ziggler. When Dolph Ziggler won the championship, which was a complete mistake in my mind. Then he retained the championship as Stand and Deliver, And then that next week on Raw, actually 2 days later on Raw, Braun Breaker won the championship.
He won it back.
And the thing is, here's the thing: the crowd was they were completely dead. I'm sorry, dead. They were completely dead.
No one cared. No one cared.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared because they don't know who he is.
You know the crowd that did care. The NXT crowd cared.
Yes,
but they didn't want. They didn't want to really. I don't know
what effect would have done if they did the title change on not takeover, Stand and Deliver versus Raw.
It should have happened at Stand and Deliver. It didn't make sense for Ziggler to win that.
There was no point for Ziggler to even win the championship in the first place, but still.
Yeah, like I say, this is what happens when you have Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard writing all of your shows. All of your shows. It's insanity on top of insanity. Stuff that just doesn't make sense. I don't know. They showed you what they thought about the NXT Championship when they had that match on Raw.
Yeah. So, like you said, that they are telling you exactly what they think of the NXT Championship, and honestly, they're telling you what they think of NXT. That it's not important. By doing that whole NXT title change on Raw, they're telling you NXT don't mean shit. It does not matter. And it's really only Raw and SmackDown that matter. But he then went on and said, we were talking about this shift anyway. That's where we were headed. It happened during a period of time where I had to leave for a bit. That was the health scare. He said that indirectly, but that's the health scare he's talking about. Luckily, Shawn Michaels had been doing it with me for a long time, so he was there doing it as well, and it was a seamless thing. While I stepped out, did what I needed to do, but that team has killed it. They've really created a show where you can really see the next generation of stars. You can see the next generation of stars, that's fine. But with the way they're booking it, and with Vince and Bruce at the helm, I just don't trust it.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah.
I just don't trust it.
And that, the perfect way to describe it. Perfect. Especially with them booking it, is you just can't trust it. You can't.
Because if they're booking them the way that they're doing it on NXT, what makes anybody think that they're not going to do the exact same thing when they get to Raw and SmackDown?
It is going to be 10 times worse on Raw and SmackDown. It's crazy. Wait a minute. I gotta ask you. Sure. Did you see they debuted I think it was LA Knight and what's his name?
LA Knight and Mace, yes.
LA Knight and Mace.
Mace is now known as Face.
It was an untelevised segment, but they debuted him.
Yes.
So apparently LA Knight and Mace is gonna be on SmackDown now. I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know if I have.
I don't know if you know this one now, but Mansoor is also a part of that group.
He's really.
Mansoor is a part of the LA Knight thing. Yes. That was a dark segment. I believe 2 weeks ago for SmackDown.
Wow.
That was a dark segment. So now Mansoor is a part of it. So Mansoor and Mace. What? Such a random ass pairing. First of all, LA Knight should not be a manager.
I don't know why they keep. I don't know why they. Do you know they wanted to make Adam Cole the manager?
Adam Cole was going to be a manager. Yes, Adam Cole was going to be a manager for Keith Lee.
Oh my goodness!
They were going to make him shave his head and be a manager. Yeah.
The stuff here, bro. We say the stuff and it doesn't even sound real. It sounds like
it doesn't, but it was. I wish what we were all saying was satire, but it's legitimately the truth, and I'm so happy that both of them are in AEW now, doing whatever they're doing. It's whatever, but they're yes. Former NXT stars in AEW. Talk about this now. For wrestling fans, it's not hard to notice that many wrestlers formerly that were a part of Triple H's team of NXT are now in AEW and other promotions. Guys like Adam Cole, Red Dragon, formerly known as the Undisputed Era, to Keith Lee, to Malachi Black, formerly known as Alistair, Andrade El Idolo, or Andrade Cien Almas, or Andrade, depending on however you saw him. A lot worked with Triple H to put NXT where it was, and now it's paying off in AEW. WWE released some of those superstars. Others left on their own. I asked Triple H what he thought about seeing those guys where they are now.
I want to hear
this. He
said,
quote, I like all those guys. He said, they helped us get to where we need to get. And I'm thankful for it. The truth is, there was a period of time we were NXT, build NXT. Then we were trying to build a brand that could be on television and sustain it. All those names helped us to get there. Whether anybody believed it or not, the fit on Raw or SmackDown, anybody believe it or not, they fit on Raw or SmackDown. Those aren't necessarily my decisions solely. They were Vince decisions and fans' decisions as well. And then can we continue to do business with them? If they have great gigs, I'm happy for them. I stay in touch with almost all of them. I like to think that they came into us here. We thought we taught them a lot, got them to a higher level, in quotes, in parentheses, and a higher level where they learned how to do television, how they could be professionals, and all of that to be successful over there. At some point, they might come back with us, or they might not come back to us at all. They don't fit, may never come back because they don't fit our brand as well, but that's okay. They got us to certain places, and I'm thankful for that, and they're thankful for that, and they're off to different things. But that does not stop the train. People leave football teams and go to different teams all the time, and it's great. First, stop using other sports as analogies, because it's not the same thing.
I don't know why he keeps bringing up the NFL and the NCAA.
It's not the same thing. When it comes to sports teams and everything like that, it's free agency first of all, and and that's mainly all money. That's what they're doing that for. Saying that they don't fit the brand anymore, that's a little bit interesting to me. Guys like Adam Cole, he was a part of NXT 2.0 for a little bit before he had to leave before he left the company. Johnny Gargano was a part of NXT 2.0 before he decided to leave. Tommaso Ciampa was a part of NXT 2.0, and now he's on Raw. Those guys don't fit the company.
I think they would. Bro, they were saying the same thing. They would say the same thing if Cody wasn't here right now. They would say the same thing if Cody wasn't here. If those guys want to come back, they would let those guys come back. I bet they'd fit the brand in. Those guys definitely fit the brand. They could fit any brand you put them on. I think it's just WWE's way of coping. Honestly, I don't know. It's the ego of WWE. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I said this earlier on when we were going through this, but this is just all very corporate stuff, and it's not corporate. It's not genuine for what Triple H. I feel like Triple H, if you got him into that just soul room, no cameras whatsoever, and you're legitimately asking about these questions, then you'd get genuine answers out of this. Otherwise, it's just going to be corporate, like you said. This is not Triple H. This is Triple H, the business guy, not Triple H, the actual human being.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then, speaking of AEW, they went into the competition with AEW. Whether or not WWE views AEW as competition, that's semantics. We all know that Vince said, I believe it was a few months ago, that he said AEW is just not competition during a conference call. While the companies no longer battle head-to-head on the same time slot, which they do, is the same time slot, it's just on different days. And people still compare it, by the way. People still compare it. They do that with NXT, they do it with Raw and SmackDown, they still compare it, so regardless. There's some competition in signing wrestlers, selling T-shirts, and anything that comes with two companies on the same field. Levesque viewed the idea as a positive for the industry, which is good. Well, that is true. Competition is good for everybody involved. It's just whether or not the competition actually drives people to do better or get worse. This is a quote from Triple H now. As far as the competition aspect goes, it's great. It makes everybody sharper, end quote. He says, starting to quote again, you get lazy if you're all there. If you're all there is and everybody goes to that business. At the end of the day, it makes us better and we'll all be better for it. All of those things have forced us to be at a better place right now. Not that we haven't gotten there anyway, but we had to do it quicker than in some manners. That's an important piece of it, right? End quote. He then added that as long as there aren't things hurting the business overall, I think any of that stuff is good. If you're a 6-year-old kid and you turn on TV, wrestling is on and you like it, now you're caught up into it. Then you start sampling all of it. You get to where you're a huge fan. That's the money. There's room for everybody to do it. It's like saying, and here we go with the sports stuff again, the USFL or XFL is starting up again, and the NFL is panicking about market share. Sorry about that. It's just going to increase people's love for football. If you love football so much already, you'll watch all the football that there is, and it's great. But the NFL is not sweating that. I'm not going to even get into the whole NFL, XFL, whole USFL. First of all, I've never even watched a single game of the USFL, so that's neither here nor there.
We know one thing. Triple H apparently loves the XFL, NFL. He loves football.
He loves using sports analogies.
But goodness.
Listen, yes, competition makes people sharper. But like I said earlier, if you're going to make worse television out of it, it's not really competition.
No.
And that, to me, I'll at least agree with Vince there. You know what? It's not competition because AEW is just a simpler, better product right now.
Yeah.
Because NXT is not where it used to be.
Nope.
Raw is not where it used to be. Raw is getting 1.6, 1.7 every single week. And that's not a good rating, people. And SmackDown could barely hold it too. And the thing is, I don't even know how they're even getting close to it too with the product that they got right now.
Yeah, I think it's purely due to either Roman Reigns or just the fact that it's on Fox.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Like, and all of this, like, I understand, yes, competition is great for the business, and I've been saying that for years too, but so have many other people. So have many other people. Tell us what you really think about AEW. Tell us what you really think about those people that went from WWE to AEW. Tell us about what you thought of William Regal showing up on that at Revolution just randomly when nobody expected that. Tell us that.
And it being great.
Tell us something about that. Like, it's so formulaic, dude.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. Because, like, we don't get anywhere with this, especially with these answers.
Yeah. We got two more subsections to go over, and then that's the end of the article. I appreciate you for being here the whole 2 hours that we've been doing this so far. I know it's late.
This has been great, though. It's been great. It's been amazing.
I know it's late, so we're gonna try. All right.
I'm good. I'm used to it.
Okay, cool. It usually we usually do this anyway. But yeah, we want to break this down, and we want to break this down right. You gotta do it in this kind of format.
Of course.
So now this is creating new habits. So the most consistent thing I heard from WWE officials at the tryout was the idea of creating wrestling habits. With some independent wrestlers, there would be bad habits to break. Like footwork or promo work or camera stuff. Young and inexperienced college athletes are easier to mold. Quote, the tryouts we did before were where there were a lot of athletes and experienced indie guys. I don't think there's any less of that, quote, that's a rock star, end quote. Like Levesque said, Triple H said, the indie stuff, half of it is, quote, he's a good in-ring performer, but the rest is a mystery. He's got bad habits, and I have to get them out of him. This is almost cleaner. It's a blank slate. A large pool of talent also allowed the company to make quicker decisions on future talent, like a pro sports team. There we go again. But
once again, if I had $1 for every time, oh my goodness.
The numbers force us to be more regimented, and he said that we used to be like, well, he's only been here a year, let's give him more time to see if he picks it up. Now we know there's a 6-month coming in the door for adaptation and get rolling, and then we're looking at the aptitude of all of this. We know within those 6 months, and some won't make it that long, end quote. Listen, if you're going to break these bad habits with these independent wrestlers or these new vibrant college athletes, yes, that's one thing, but you don't have to completely strip them of the things that make them them.
Of course.
That's what I'm kind of getting from this. Yeah, sure, you're stripping away the bad parts of what could honestly get people injured at the end of the day if they really don't know the actual ins and outs of the ring, but make them have their own identity.
I think someone said this before. I think it's they teach them the WWE way of wrestling, the WWE style of wrestling. Yeah. None of that indie stuff, none of that the WWE style of wrestling. Sports entertainment. Yeah. That's what it basically is.
Yeah. So there's that. I mean, yes, I understand creating new habits for them and getting them to where they need to be, but you can't just strip them of what they always used to be. And with that being said, if you do that, they're not really going to have their own identity. It's just going to be the WWE way. We're almost out of here, guys. We got one more thing to go over, and that is making new stars. For a period of time in the mid 2000s to the mid 2010s, many felt that WWE had lost the abilities to make stars. And some of those stars were CM Punk, Daniel Bryan. They were done so reluctantly. But that's changed in the recent years, and people like Roman Reigns, post heel turn, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and many others who came from the NXT brand. Levesque pointed to the Tonight Show as an example of how it's all changed. We all know that whole famous Tonight Show thing with all of that he was pretty much just making fun of everything that the WWE was doing at that time. He said, quote, 3 years ago, the Tonight Show would call and want Triple H to be a guest, or The Undertaker, or Cena. There was a year I couldn't make it work, and I asked them to pick Roman or Braun Strowman, and they weren't interested. Now Roman is on the show, and he's taking it on his own. It makes time. It takes time. You're building stars. It's not like fresh. It's not like flash in the pan stars where this guy's hot in boxing one day, and then 6 months later, you barely remember his name. He says, quote, again, you're trying to build generational talent that lasts. It takes time. It's slow and steady. It's a slow and steady progression, and they're getting there. Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, they're becoming household names. End quote. The past year has seen a ton of turnover in WWE. The company has gone all in on the talent shift, and the roster 5 years from now will look a lot different than it has been in the past. AEW loading up their roster with independent wrestlers continues to look strong as well. The landscape is changing, and those are two very different talent strategies. But as much as online wrestling fans like to argue with each other about each company, the end result should be better. Should be for a better industry for everybody because of the competition that both options are available. And that's it. Listen, creating new stars. A lot of people are still saying nowadays that people can't create, that WWE can't create new stars. I look at Austin Theory for an example of this, or just Theory now that they're calling him.
Mm-hmm.
Theory is fantastic. Whether anybody likes to believe it or not, he's great in the ring. He's got the look that Vince really wants. And with him being the United States champion right now, there's something to be said about that with him being so short on the main roster for his career. They clearly see something in him, and they're showing it with him being the United States champion. He is a new star. They're creating that within him. Anybody else, I really don't see. But that's if we're focusing on one for right now. Austin Theory is not that bad of a guy to do it with.
Not bad.
But it's just there's got to be more than one. There's got to be more than one.
is they build up one person, maybe two, every like what year, every 2 years, and for the most part, it's the same guys. It doesn't have to be as long as Triple H says. Like, of course, it's a process,
Yes.
but it doesn't have to take as long as it takes them. There is no reason Roman Reigns should have took as long as he did to actually have a good character. It's just no reason for that.
Yeah.
I think they need to give these younger guys more of a chance.
Yeah.
And just put more faith in them. That's another thing. Put more faith in them. And once they do that, they won't have to look for a Stone Cold Steve Austin main event WrestleMania, or look for a Brock Lesnar to come back to fight Roman. They'll have their stars right here.
Or look for Cena to come back, and Cena's not getting any younger either. And it's not. And I love Cena. I love Cena. Don't get me wrong. But we should not have to focus on those stars to come back when you got guys like Austin Theory, who honestly, and people are even saying this now, could be the next John Cena. I don't know if we can go that far yet.
I kind of see it.
I can see it. I just don't know if we can say that right now with how.
Oh, of course not.
Short.
Yeah. But with Vince McMahon, when Vince McMahon sees something in someone,
they're going to do it. He's going to do something about it.
He's going far. He's going far.
So, making new stars. Does WWE need to get better at it? Yes. But do they have the potential to do it? They do. Especially with the talent that they got right now. So you have the power to do it, and you have the potential. You just got to put forth that effort to do it. You've done it with Roman. You've done it with Sasha. Becky is a big star. I will say that, even though I don't like her right now, but she is. She is a draw. Cena and The Undertaker. Braun was a big star, and then you fucked him up.
Hey, they pushed Brock to the moon.
Yes.
First couple years in the company, to the moon.
And many others. You have that potential. Now you just got to put the forth effort in order to do it. And hopefully we get that with those NXT guys.
Hopefully, because I don't know how many more Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn matches I can take.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I'm happy that Sami Zayn signed a new contract and everything, but if he knew that this was going to be what he was doing while he was signing that contract, I really don't know how you did it, man. I really don't.
It sucks because Sami Zayn is a gem. Sami Zayn is gold.
Sami Zayn he made that whole conspiracy thing so over.
Oh my goodness. It was amazing, bro. It was amazing.
I got blocked by him on Twitter when I've been praising the guy for years. Dude,
he's hilarious.
You don't even know how many people I've gotten blocked for when I've praised some people for years.
Wow.
I've gotten blocked by Sami Zayn. I've gotten blocked by Titus, but I called him Titus Catering, so I see where that kind of came from. I don't have any disrespect towards Titus whatsoever, especially with what he does with like charities and all that stuff. He is honestly a great human being. I just didn't like the way that they were using him, so I called him Titus Catering. I got blocked by R-Truth. I did. I got blocked by R-Truth, mainly because I called the 24/7 title worthless, but it is. I'm sorry. I got blocked by Adam Pearce.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
For calling him the general manager of Raw and SmackDown, which he is. I don't care what anybody says. He is.
He is.
But he got butthurt over that, and he blocked me.
Wow.
And I believe I got blocked by 2 other people, but other than that, I really can't think of their names.
If Sammy Guevara and Tay Conti keep going on how they do, they might block me because I might say something. I can't take it. I know it's off topic, but I just can't take it.
No. Trust me. Listen. I'm glad they did the double turn on that Dynamite, where now Sammy and Tay are heels now, and obviously, ATT are baby faces now. I'm glad they did that, because if they did not turn Sammy and Tay heel, it was going to be bad from this. It was going to be bad. It was going to be bad. So I'm glad they did the heel turn.
Do you think it's going to get Becky Lynch heel bad?
With the way that they're going about it right now, I think it could. I think it could.
I can't take it anymore, bro. I'm telling you, I'm going to say something. It's only a matter of time.
Well, the thing is, with that kind of whole thing, they should have never brought the relationship to TV. They should have never done that.
That's where they always mess up.
Yeah,
that's where they always mess up.
If you brought the relationship to TV, I saw that coming from a mile away. But the thing is, you're also pairing them against American Top Team, Dan Lambert. Dan Lambert's gonna fuck you over no matter what side of the spectrum you are on, whether you're a heel or babyface. They did that exact thing with Cody Rhodes and Brandy. Brandy got fucking destroyed.
Oh my goodness! Let's not. Oh my god! I was embarrassed for her. I was in the crowd.
I was so happy.
That AEW crowd has no remorse. That AEW crowd has no. Do you hear them talking about bringing Brandy on TV on WWE?
Don't.
That is the worst idea I've heard in a while.
You should not, dude. If I see Eden on my TV, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
If Cody is getting booed in a month, if they bring Brandy, Cody will be getting booed on WWE television. I can almost guarantee it.
You cannot bring Brandy onto WWE TV. That it would just never work. But listen, guys, that was the entirety of that whole interview with The Athletic and everything of that nature. Was Triple H giving some very corporate-like answers? Yes.
Of course.
But with it being in that whole environment of the WWE tryouts and everything, you kind of had to expect that. But it's what Triple H thinks of everything when it comes to NXT 2.0, AEW, new stars coming into the fold, and everything in between. That's it. We could talk for a little bit more if you guys have anything else to add in the live chat. If any of you guys are still here at 1 o'clock in the morning, I applaud you guys.
I can't even see the live chat. I might have to pull the stream up on something else. But man, this has been great.
This was awesome. I love that you took the time out of your day. My bad. Of course, I have a little bit of a problem to do this, but yeah, this was absolutely fun. And if you guys have anything else that you guys want to say before we get out of here, I can honestly look in the chat to see what you guys have said throughout this entire podcast and see what you have said throughout the show. So let's see. Luffy, you're 100% right in saying that if Roman ever left SmackDown, the ratings would drop 50%, which is 100% facts.
Yes. When Roman showed up on Raw, the ratings spiked. They went up. So it's like that shows how big of an impact Roman is. It's ridiculous. And he's the only person with that type of impact. WWE can have more people like that, but they just don't try. Because they think, okay, we got Roman, we can just cruise.
So Nuck, if you D, I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing that right, but you said Samoa Joe is a prime example of WWE not caring what Triple H did with NXT. Absolute facts.
Yes.
Absolute facts.
Yes.
Because they fired him once. They fired him not once but twice.
They fired him twice in less than a year, right?
Yes. They fired him once. Triple H brought him back because he was fired from the main roster. But then once that all happened, they brought him back, brought him into NXT. He was used as the authority figure for William Regal and everything of that in NXT. And then once he won the NXT Championship, they had to vacate it because of an undisclosed injury. He had COVID, and then they fired him once again. That's exactly it. Samoa Joe was a prime example, and now look at where he is. He had a complete banger with Minoru Suzuki on Dynamite to become the Ring of Honor Television Champion, and now he's fantastic in AEW. If they fired him, but Triple H didn't like it, so they brought him back and they fired him again. Exactly, Nux. So that is 100% facts there. Okay, this is a good question, Luffy. And I kind of wanted to ask him this too. Ranking the 4 horsewomen.
Ranking the 4, and you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna like it.
Me?
I know you're not gonna like. A lot of people are not gonna like it.
Okay.
But and sometimes I look at my ranking and it's like, man, how can I think this? But it's true. It's true. It's weird. It's weird, bro. Because as bad as Charlotte is right now, I fully rank her wrestling ability.
Okay.
Number one. Okay. Number 2 is definitely Sasha, right? But to me, when it comes to wrestling ability, it's Charlotte. Now, character work, we can go Sasha, we can go Bayley, we can go, But when it comes to in-ring ability, I've never the way Charlotte can turn a match from chanting about CM Punk and Becky Lynch. I think it was Rhea Ripley, Money in the Bank 2021. She turned that match from no one caring to it becoming a great match and everyone on their feet at the end of it. I've seen Charlotte do it too many times and not give her props. I like Charlotte the wrestler. I couldn't care less for Charlotte the person. I love her in work stuff, in ring work stuff, and I would go Charlotte number 1 in ring, Sasha number 2 in ring, and then between Becky and Bayley in ring, I'd go Bayley, and then last would be Becky. That's my rankings of the 4 horsewomen.
If we're doing it solely in ring,
we're doing solely in ring.
Solely in ring, Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, Becky.
Can't argue with
it. It's just a flip flop. It's just a flip flop there. But
I can't argue with it.
It's just a flip flop there. And then here's the thing: when it comes, I've said it countless times on either TikTok or whatever. I've always thought of Charlotte as the worst of the 4 horsewomen when it comes to just the overall aspect of it, because I just absolutely disrespect her so much. But I can't disrespect her in-ring work, like you said. I can't disrespect her in-ring work and the way that she has honestly made the crowd either love or hate her just based on the actual in-ring work ability of her own. But that being said, the match at WrestleMania sucked, and I don't care what anybody says.
Oh man, it was horrible. We're talking about a Ronda match, right?
Yeah, the match at WrestleMania with Ronda.
It was bad.
That match sucked.
It was bad. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking.
And they had no in-ring chemistry whatsoever, and it's honestly just showed because of the way the feud was going.
It's sad because their match at Survivor Series was literally like a 4-star match. Yes. It was amazing. And then they get here, 4 years later it is? And they're worse. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's... I don't know. I can't possibly put my finger on it.
Yeah, it was bad. And I'm telling you guys right now, even though I respect the hell out of Charlotte's in-ring ability, worst moonsault in all professional wrestling.
Oh my gosh. If I see that moonsault one more time, she's gonna block me on Twitter.
And then she tried to do the Andrade moonsault, which is even worse. She's botching that beyond belief.
She busts it every time. I don't think she's ever hit it correctly.
No,
it's insanity.
Never. Especially the one at WrestleMania. If you saw the one at WrestleMania, my God.
Oh my gosh.
It was a complete miss.
She misses it every time.
Yeah. There was also something that I did want to touch on in just a second. Actually, no, maybe I did a video on this because there's a question here saying, well, not a question, it's more of a statement, but he said that it's Snuck again saying, I don't see WWE having Cody win Money in the Bank, and I do. I
Really?
do. I think Cody should be the one to win Money in the Bank this year, mainly because of one thing and one thing only. If you're doing that, if you're going to have Cody Rhodes chase a championship, the only way I would have him beat Roman is if he cashed in Money in the Bank. That's the only reason, because I would not want Roman to be beat clean, or Roman to be beat clean by somebody else, and then having that championship be taken away just due to a cash in. I would not want that. So if Roman was ever going to lose the championship, have him retain it, but have him be so beat up that Cody could cash in and win the championship that way. Then you can have the whole rematch of having Roman and Cody. I don't know how you would ever do that. But that's the only way I would ever have Cody win a championship, is if he won Money in the Bank.
Wow. I see. I see what you're saying. You know the one problem with it, the way they're booking Cody.
Yeah.
As he never backs down from a fight at any opportunity. He's not going to take he's not going to take the easy match. He's gonna fight Roman when he's fresh, because that's what baby faces do. He's gonna John Cena the thing, and basically that's what his character is going to be.
Yeah, I see that point
I would
too.
Say,
but...
and the thing about Cody winning Money in the Bank, I was on the side of no, but now that I think about it, who else would you have win? Because they're not gonna win the belt. It would just be a wasted Money in the Bank win. Because no one's beating Roman but Cody, in my opinion, to be honest.
Right. Now, Eliza, Hope Division, if you know her on TikTok most likely. Hope Division, Eliza. This profile.
I think I've seen her before.
Okay. So if you've seen her before, she asked me on TikTok who I would book in the Money in the Bank ladder match this year and who I would have as the winner. The Money in the Bank ladder match, and the way that I would do it, is Matt Riddle, and let's be clear, RK Bro is broken up from this timeline. So Matt Riddle is here. Then I would have Tommaso Ciampa, who is a part of Edge's faction, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, obviously. And then I would have Drew McIntyre along with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and I believe I added one more, and that is Seth Rollins. So I'd have those 8 people in there. And the top 3 people that I would have in the winner, in like the winner's bracket or whatever, was Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, or Riddle. Riddle, because you can have Randy Orton win the WWE Championship, and you can do this whole story of Riddle beating Randy because Randy turned on him to win the championship, and you have a new star right there in Riddle being a WWE champion. Seth Rollins, I would just love to see this side of Seth Rollins having a Money in the Bank briefcase again. I think that would just be fantastic.
It would be gold, bro. It would be gold.
And then
He already acts
Cody
like
Rhodes.
he has one.
Yeah.
He already acts like he has one. He's amazing. Seth's amazing.
And then Cody Rhodes just being the whole Cody Rhodes thing and him chasing that championship. But yeah, that's how I would book Money in the Bank. With all that being said, but man, Money in the Bank this year is honestly more important than it honestly ever used to be, because Roman has both championships. If you're going to have the winner be the Money in the Bank, the way that they're going to have the person cash in on the champion, let's say if it's still Roman Reigns, it's going to be interesting. Is he going to have to cash in on both championships, or is it going to have to be for one title? It's more interesting now than it has to be.
Wow, that is a good question, because I never really thought about that.
Yeah, because I mean they unified the titles, but there's still 2 championships. So are they gonna have to do it for both titles or one or the other? It's interesting.
It is interesting. And this is something in WWE that we don't get a lot, but it's interesting. I tell you what, after Cody does win, what if he wins the WWE title or the unified titles, I'm scared of how they're gonna book him after he wins it.
Yeah,
because WWE's track record of face champions, it's not good. It is not good. They can't book a face champion to save their life.
They did look at terribly with Big E. Yes, they did terrible
with him. Big E. They even, oh man, the Kofi Kingston incident with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that was a hard pill to swallow.
It was tough. Face champions don't. They found a way possible to have the crowd turn against Seth during his Universal title reign.
Yeah.
Like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So it's like WWE in the hand of face title reigns, I don't know. But if one person can defy the odds, I believe it's Cody Rhodes. I got faith in Cody Rhodes. I have faith in Cody Rhodes.
Listen, I love Cody. You guys know I love Cody. I think Cody Rhodes is honestly one of the best storytellers in all of professional wrestling today.
He's great.
And everybody honestly gives me crap about that, but name me really a better storyteller within this part of professional wrestling other than Cody Rhodes. I really,
it's hard.
It's hard really to say anybody. I think, and people argue with me, Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega is a better wrestler, but he's not a better storyteller.
His heel work is very hit or miss for me. It doesn't come off as like, I don't know. I don't think Kenny is a better face than heel. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
One other guy I'll give that to, like with the storytelling, Daniel Bryan, because he can get you invested in this.
Yes.
But other than that, it's hard. It's hard.
And the thing is, I love the Bryan Danielson things that he's doing right now with the whole Blackpool Combat Club. That shit was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
Wheeler Yuta is a made man because of all of that stuff. I hope everybody knows that. So
that match with Jon Moxley. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Those 2 matches with him and Bryan and then him and Moxley made him a made man. And then also he won the Ring of Honor Ring of Honor Pure Championship as Supercard of Honor. He was a made man that month.
That is how you make someone. That is how you build someone up. WWE. If you need to take notes,
anything you should take notes for AEW from is how you can book a new superstar.
They do. Oh, they're watching. You remember when they tried to recreate the CM Punk and MJF promo with Edge and Miz?
With Edge and Miz, yeah.
I was man,
it came off terribly.
It was.
And it came off terribly.
It was so bad. It was so bad. But yeah, another guy, AW. I got my eye on. I've had my eye on him for the longest. Hook is a future superstar. I don't care.
Thank you for being a hooker. Oh my gosh, thank you,
bro. Hook. He just has that special it to him that most guys don't. He's legit. When he comes out here, it's Hook, man.
No,
and they're booking him great. I'm loving how they're doing him. The stuff with Danhausen is a little left field, but I guess we'll see where it goes.
Hook is fantastic, and Nate, I know you're watching this. Nate is another part of this podcast, and he is a complete Hook hater.
Oh my goodness! How could you hate Hook?
He hates Hook with a passion.
How could you hate Hook?
Suplex and I are like 2 of the biggest Hook fans on TikTok. Now I know that you're a Hook fan, and you're obviously okay in my book now because you're just a Hook fan. You're a hooker now, so that's great. I love that everybody calls themselves hookers for that fan base. It's fantastic. I say, where are my hookers at? And everybody stands up.
He's amazing. He's truly amazing.
He's great.
I can't wait to see what he do.
And everybody wants him to have a championship right now, but you don't need that. You can't have that for him right now.
He doesn't.
You can't have that for him right now.
He doesn't need it. he should just keep building up his wins and keep slowly building up to more serious guys. Because now he's getting feuds now. He's actually getting like feuds. Before he was just, fighting, the jobber matches or just, beating up some guys. Now he's getting actual feuds. They're building them up great.
His first feud is really with Danhausen, and that's going to be very interesting to see because here's the thing. People say this all the time.
I'm not knowledgeable on Danhausen. Is he like a joke character? Is he?
He is a joke character. He's from Ring of Honor. If you didn't know him, he was a part of the Ring of Honor brand. He's nothing like an R-Truth character or anything like that, but he is a comical-like character. But he does get serious when the time is right for it.
I like that. I like that.
So Danhausen is great in that regard. He is a fantastic professional wrestler. So once we actually get to see that, it's going to be great.
Of course.
But I've always thought of this. Danhausen hasn't had a match yet, and he's been here for months. And Hook can't lose right now.
No.
Hook just can't lose right now.
No.
But I feel, and I said this, I believe, on the first Dynamite that when they were kind of making this Hook and Danhausen feud a thing. If Danhausen can't lose because it's first match, but also Hook can't lose because he's Hook right now, why book the match? Why book it if you have to really make both superstars kind of look strong in a way?
Kind of book into the corner.
But then Lewis, he has so many numbers in his last name now I can't even remember. But I'll show you his profile afterwards. He was on that Dynamite review with me as a little bit of a payback because I was on their podcast, the Brotherhood's podcast, and he said, "Listen, at the end of the day, I see your point, but with Danhausen being a comical character, like Jesus, I'm sorry, like kind of thing. Him losing his first match is honestly not that big of a deal because of him being the comical character, which I kind of see that, but I don't know. I don't like usually having people lose their first match.
I guess you just kind of. I see. You got to look at it. It's like who is more important to build up right now?
Who really needs it more? Yeah.
Who really needs it more? In my opinion, I would say Hook needs it more. I say Hook needs an undefeated streak. He needs some type of undefeated streak. So, like,
Take a look at Hook right now, actually.
He's undefeated right now.
He is undefeated, yeah, but I want to see what
I think he needs to keep going.
Yeah. So, like Lewis said, I think Hook is great, and I think Danhausen losing his first match isn't all that bad. But usually, whenever somebody sees that kind of a scenario, why book the match in the first place when you're trying to make both characters look strong in a sense? But that being said, Hook right now, and damn, they got a lot of people on this roster. I'm into D's still.
That is one of AEW's issues.
Yeah, Hook is 6-0, 4-0 in 2022. So he's only had 6 matches. This will most likely be his 7th, or not. We got a long way until Double or Nothing. So he might have a couple more matches heading into this feud. I say he'll probably be 9-0 until we get to Double or Nothing, and then that whole 10th win. Could he get his 10th win, especially against Danhausen? And we'll see where that goes. This is going to be a very interesting feud for AEW. But the thing is, it's already working. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. It's already working. I have this stutter problem, and it's not my fault.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's already working dividends for AEW because Hook spoke for the first time.
Yeah,
which popped the crowd, which I couldn't even believe.
I couldn't believe it. It was like Kane speaking for the first time. It was crazy.
Hook speaking for the first time was fantastic. And then Danhausen, just being Danhausen, is always just going to pop the crowd. He's eating his he's eating his sour cream and onion potato chips and throwing them to the ground, stomping on them. It's just Danhausen being Danhausen, and it's great.
Of course.
But it's a great feud for AEW. I think it's a great feud for Hook because it actually gives him somebody credible to work with. Not saying that QT Marshall wasn't credible, but let's be real there. AEW right now is honestly on so many levels right now with CM Punk looking for his first world championship back again in professional wrestling with Hangman. That is going to be the match in Double or Nothing.
Do you think they're going to give it to him?
They're giving it. I
honestly don't know.
They're giving it to him. They're giving it to him, and I feel so bad for Hangman. But you know what? It's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen.
Either way, you know, I wouldn't be mad. Either way, what happens? Because CM Punk winning the AEW World Title, I have no problem with that. Adam Page beating a credible guy like CM Punk.
That's gonna be made for him.
So it's like it's either situation. I'm just along for the ride. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. I can't wait for Double or Nothing. It's gonna be amazing.
I also can't wait for his Forbidden Door. I want to go to Chicago so bad.
I've heard about that pay-per-view. Now, apparently, that's the New Japan Pro Wrestling joint pay-per-view with AEW.
New Japan and AEW, yep.
Wow.
I want to go to Chicago so bad. Dude, Chicago gets everything.
I swear. Didn't they get the return of CM Punk?
Yes.
CM Punk return to Chicago.
In that same arena, the United Center. Wow. Chicago gets everything. I want to go to Chicago so bad. I want to go to Chicago. I want to see that show because I've seen New Japan stuff. Don't get me wrong, but we're in the States. We don't really have that luxury of seeing New Japan every single time. But just seeing that live, that would be absolutely fantastic. And somebody asked me on TikTok to book some matches for that New Japan show, and honestly. I am not going to be mad in giving you guys some of these answers right now because I believe these matches would be marquee for Forbidden Door. Here, hold on one second. Okada versus Bryan Danielson. We all know Okada. That would be great to see, especially with Bryan Danielson. Especially with the Bryan Danielson we see now. That would be absolutely fantastic.
That's main event level.
Guerrillas of Destiny versus FTR.
Ooh.
Be fantastic. Fantastic right there. Two of the best tag teams in professional wrestling. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jon Moxley. These two have been wanting each other for years. So it makes the most sense to do it.
Yeah.
If we could not get the Bryan Danielson match that I had, a replacement would be either Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson. I think that would be fan-freaking-tastic. Or Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay, oh man.
Versus Danielson.
Man.
All the dream matches that we have in store for Forbidden Door is going to be great. Now, we don't know if this is just a one-off or if this is going to be a yearly thing. But regardless, if it's a one-off or a yearly thing,
it's going to be great.
It's better for professional wrestling.
It's a wrestling pay-per-view by wrestling fans for wrestling fans.
Yes.
It's amazing.
And the thing is, it works for both sides.
Of course.
AEW is getting their Dynamite shows on New Japan World, their streaming service over there in Japan. So that partnership is already there. And New Japan is getting eyes on their talent in the States. What's better than that? I mean, it's working out for both companies.
It is a match made in heaven. It's great.
Yes.
This is both companies' benefit.
And yeah, sure, the Impact partnership didn't really work out all that well. But it wasn't really due to the fault of AEW or Impact. It just was not working out.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega was holding every company on his back during that time. So
The
it's not
AEW World
really...
title and the Impact World title, it was ridiculous.
And other championships as well. I believe he was like the AAA World Champion as well. He had like 4 belts or whatever. And now that's Matt Cardona's job. Matt Cardona's a fucking beast.
Oh, he's great.
But
he's great.
But yeah, Kenny Omega was just holding everything on his back at that time, and now Kenny Omega is slowly working his way back to television. He's just got to get better now because he was injured over there.
He's helping work on the AEW video game. I will be pre-ordering that.
Yes.
Whenever they release that.
AEW Fight Forever is supposed to come out in September.
Okay.
Or at least that's what that's what everybody is saying right now, and that's technically what AEW Games have said for their initial time frame for the release date. So it's going to be great.
That sounds great.
Oh man, I can talk about AEW or anything, just professional wrestling all day. That's kind of what Tuesday Talk is all for. We've almost gone for 3 hours, and I honestly could not thank you enough for all of this.
Of course. I'm glad to be here, bro. This was amazing. This was great.
If you ever want to come on again, bro, I seriously don't mind that at all. And especially once everybody goddamn ants. Once everybody gets their situations figured out with either schooling or technical difficulties or anything of that nature, everybody will be here and everybody will just have such an amazing conversation. Even though one-on-ones are great, everybody being here, you get to meet Loft, you get to meet Bash. Bash about that. I feel like you know him.
That was one of the he was one of the first guys I actually got in contact with over there. So he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
So,
Loft was the first guy to ever that was the first guy to ever see me.
Yeah.
He's the first guy to follow me in the wrestling community. So it's like those two guys, I know those guys since I started.
Yeah.
So I know Batch, I know Loft.
So those guys are great. Loft is just finishing up college right now, or at least this semester. So I obviously understand his situation with all of that. I mean, school comes first when it comes to all of that. And Bash, once he gets his setup and all working together and everything, it's going to be great to see him back. And anybody else that is a part of this wrestling podcasting family. I appreciate all you guys that were here in this chat today. Going for almost 3 hours is a long time, a long podcast, but you guys were here and you guys were pretty active for a lot of it. So thank you guys so much for that. Next Tuesday, I don't know what we're going to be doing, but tomorrow it's technically today. This always happens, but technically tonight after AEW Dynamite, we are going to be doing a full show review for that show. We got a stacked card for Fred. We got a stacked card. We got Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler in the Owen Hart Cup tournament qualifier. FTR going up against each other. That's fantastic. We got a Philadelphia street fight between it's Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. Should be fantastic. A ladder match for the TNT title. Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky. So that's going to be great. And much more. We got Wardlow versus Lance Archer. That's just going to be a big Haas match. It's going to be a great thing to see. CM Punk. I don't know. I don't know if CM Punk is going to be doing anything. CM Punk is most likely going to be on show because he's going to have to do stuff with Hangman Adam Page. But he's been doing great in AEW, so I can't wait to see where that goes. The Wardlow and MJF stuff is going to be it's going to be even more intensified and everything. So that's going to be great. Everything about AEW, I can't praise AEW enough. TK, I love you. I love you. Just send me an AEW championship and an AEW hoodie, and I'll be good to go. I mean, everybody calls me Phil Con anyway, so it's like I'm your brother.
Oh, man.
But, man, this is going to be great, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Go subscribe to Outside the Brand on YouTube. It's all right there. You guys click that subscribe button and you click that like button. I even mentioned a like goal for this. Usually we try to hit 10 likes for these shows. But with all of this and with all this great conversation, even with my stuttering ass, I'm sorry about all of that. But even with that, let's try to get 12 likes minimum on this. I mean, this is an absolutely great conversation. This man is absolutely knowledgeable about all of this stuff. And man, this is absolutely great in everything. So we'll do all of that. Wednesday, Dynamite. Thursday is our off day because trust me, with everything going on in the wrestling rig, we all need a break. So Thursday is usually our off day. And Friday is a dual review for Smackdown and AEW Rampage. So that's great. So, and we'll see where that goes. Smackdown is Smackdown and Rampage is Rampage, considering it's taped and it's on at 10 o'clock. I don't like it.
Both of the shows are taped. Both of the shows are taped this week.
Both of the shows are taped this week too. So that's right. We got 14. Oh, dude, Mo, thank you so much for that. We got 16. Whoa. You're a ratings boost, bro. You're a ratings boost. That's just what it is. You're a ratings boost. You're a draw. You're a draw. You're a draw.
Oh man, I really do appreciate being here, man. Yeah, this is great.
This is great. And like, we have 7 people a part of this, but bro, if we ever wanted to expand again, you'd be the first one to be asked, honestly, because you're so knowledgeable about this, and it's honestly really, really good to see somebody that just wants a better product. And I know everybody in the wrestling community just wants a better product, but I feel like you just get it. We just want the same thing.
Certain people do just get it, and certain people don't, and that is how it is sometimes especially in the wrestling community, But yeah, you are knowledgeable on this stuff, man. It is amazing. Finally talking to someone who finally had, like, people who have the knowledge, people who know what they're talking about. It's like a breath of fresh air, bro. I can't say it enough.
I appreciate that, man.
I enjoy being here. This was great, man.
Yeah. So we're going to get out of here, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. All the links are down in the description for TikTok, for social medias on my end, and everything else in between. You guys can go follow this man. Shout out your TikTok real quick for everybody to know it.
My TikTok is TLSales44. You can just type it in just like that, or we'll be in the link in the description. He put it in there. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's on this side. He put it in there,
it takes a little bit of getting used to for StreamYard and everything.
Yeah, he put it in there. It should be in there. My YouTube channel is actually linked to my TikTok account too. I will start posting videos on that, commentary videos about whatever you want me to talk about. What? We could talk about what? Kofi Kingston's title reign. We could talk about the invasion angle. We can talk about the demise of WCW. We could talk about anything, bro. So, yeah, I'm excited to be starting a YouTube channel. I'm excited to be doing all that. And this has just been great. I would definitely do this again. And whenever you need me up here again, just hit me up. I'll be here because this is great. This was amazing.
All right, man. So, guys, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Links are down in the description. You guys know what to do from here. You guys can go follow all of us there. Follow me on Twitter at @PhillyMatt_, and that's on Instagram as well. look forward to Wednesday, guys, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon. Have a good night, guys. And we do this at the end of every single podcast. I don't care. I know you acknowledge Roman, right? You acknowledge.
Bro, that is the tribal chief. Man is carrying.
So you're gonna fit right in here. We the ones. We do this every time.
I do. You know I did this the night after WrestleMania, right? You know what I said? I said, what did I say? I said, say your prayers, acknowledge your tribal chief, and good night. That's gonna be my outro. There we go. There we go.
But yeah, we the ones, guys, and we will talk to you guys very, very soon. Peace out, guys. Right. Love ya.